Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's doing well.
Hello.
Hi. It seems like we already have. I already opened mine.
I
I should have
know.
waited. We already have, a good group here. So, Derek just responded to Nick Peters. So we were reading that right before we went live, and we are like, oh no. But I hope your road trips. Oh my gosh, you
had the volume off.
always do that.
Oh man, no! I could swear I had the volume off.
Anyway, So that sounds really gross, and sorry that you had to deal with that already on day one of your trip. Hello, Ronnie Dove. Welcome to you, and Lori Sims. Thank you for joining. Welcome, and Ryan Donahue. Welcome to you as well. Thanks for joining. Hello, Megan Morris and Scorpio Sue. All the great crew is back at it today again on quite a Thursday indeed. Mo is on, and Drew. Welcome to both of them too. So Mo says, gonna stick for a little while before I pop to bed. Busy with work tomorrow.
Well,
hopefully work isn't too early because it's pretty late there. You're a night owl, which that's cool. We respect that. We love having you here. And hello, Drew. How's it going over in Indiana? And so I hope everybody's having a good week. Derek just had a big day. He did this big task in the house. Where he was cleaning out the air conditioner.
Yeah, did quite a bit of a lot of hosing down of a condenser unit for our AC, which took a little while to figure out how to get that thing taken apart. And actually, the worst part of it was putting it all back together once I took all the sides off and everything, because I was doing it by myself. My beautiful wife had already showered and looked nice for the live stream, so I had to somehow manhandle it all up on my own, but it was okay.
No bueno.
I don't think it had been washed out in quite a while, so it was a little gnarly, a little gross.
But it's done, and yay,
it's
good
done.
things.
Yeah.
That was our day. Hope you guys had neater ones. I'm sure Nick did. He at least had, he's a road warrior at minimum.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sue says her Rick Steves guidebooks came today. So
nice.
We all chatted about this last week, didn't we? So Rick Steves was having a huge guidebook sale for $5 a book.
Yeah.
During our live stream last week, as one does. And Derek and I tried to buy some of those bad boys.
By the time I got to checkout for the Great Britain guidebook, it was sold out.
Yeah, so
I was able to add it to my cart, go to checkout, and then they're like, never mind, it's not.
So Bonnie, Bag of Bonnie, posted on Instagram I saw a couple hours ago, and she had bought 5 guidebooks, and one of them was the Great Britain one.
Ah, she got it. With us.
And I meant to tell you this because I literally commented on her Instagram post, and I was like, "You got it," because it was sold out by the time this live stream ended a week ago today. So we were pretty bummed about that.
Oh well. We didn't know about the sale until this live stream, so it's not that
we
big
wouldn't
a deal.
have known. So. Which is weird because I follow Rick Steves everywhere on all the socials, so I'm surprised I didn't get a huge alert, but did not.
Nice.
Neato. Scorpio Sue, I hope your guidebook collection is even better today than it was yesterday. And then Darian's on. Hey, he says, hello, folks. I think he meant howdy. Glad to see everyone. I'm almost home, watching and listening till I get there. Thanks for joining from the car. Awesome. And Mary Ellen, welcome. She says, hey, y'all. Not a good week here, waiting for power to be restored. Oof.
She's in Connecticut, where Isaac's knocked out the power. Isaiah's?
Yeah. So we used to live in New York City, as we've mentioned before, and we have a bunch of friends that have ridden out that too. Very scary stuff. So I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that, and hopefully the power goes back on soon. It sucks. It really does. And I hope everything around you is okay too, because I saw so much damage happen from all the winds and everything that it's brutal. Yeah. So, and then...
Vega Bonnie, welcome. Thomas
And
Reiser,
hi, Nick
hello.
Barnett. Welcome to you.
Nick Barnett.
Bonnie, we were just talking about you and how jealous we are of your Great Britain guidebook.
Yeah.
Yep. And Nick's saying, I'm about to check into my first COVID-19 hotel. I'm guessing like first...
Post-COVID.
Post-COVID. Yeah. Like quarantine era hotel.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how this goes. Yeah. You should probably just give us the play-by-play because, I mean, we're all with you. Stay strong. No, it'll be fine, I'm sure. I'm actually, I've seen so many great, like, new methods that hotels are using to keep things clean.
Yeah. Thomas Reiser just got his guidebooks as well.
Great.
Scorpio Sue says she got Vienna, Province, Florence, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and Rothsburg the Rhine. And she can plan travel for
5 books
years.
basically like
Scorpio
for the price
Sue.
of one full price one. So that's awesome.
That's great. Mo is saying that masks are to be compulsory in shops in Northern Ireland on Monday. Got my Under Armour sports masks just in time. Finally, no fogging to my glasses.
Yay,
Nice.
good.
That's cool.
We need to get you some so you can wear glasses with your mask if you want to.
Drew is asking a question, which is whether or not we have ridden the L in Chicago since quarantine started. He hears that they've been cleaning the cars frequently, but he's still nervous to go back on it. We have not since we came back from Amsterdam.
Right.
So that would have put it on
March 13th.
like March 13th or something. So like right at the beginning of it all. And at that time it was much less crowded and felt cleaner when we did get on it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And we took it from the airport. But I'm sure it's even, like, the cleanliness levels have improved even more so. But
so.
yeah, I mean, that is something we actively are trying to avoid, those and the buses, just as much as we can. So we have taken Ubers a couple of times, and we could speak to that if anyone's interested. But we have yet to be on public transit. We have a bike and we have a car, so we've made do as we can. And luckily, like, we're not commuting into work, so.
Capicco, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Hi,
Good to see you. So Nick P is saying the best part of domestic travel is not having to change my wireless plan. Great to be able to abuse my unlimited data with Verizon all across our country. That is nice.
Bonnie, you're so funny. She says she'd be happy to send or lend her Great Britain guidebook to us, and she feels like she practically stole it from us. I saw her comment. She was like, "Oh shoot! I realized like you guys might actually use this soon." It's okay. Let me go grab. I'll show you guys. We have another.
We
Great
have
Britain
so
guidebook.
many Great Britain everything. We're good. Eliz has an entire shelf basically that's UK focused. That I'm sure she's. Or you just bring all the ones that are UK related.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
The greatest of the Britain. I don't know, Great Britain.
I'm gonna leave the Ireland one here just
Because that's not Great Britain.
because that's not. Yeah.
Although I hear it's great. It's just not Great Britain. Oh Lord. We have
okay.
guidebooks. These are all.
So this one's kind of old though. I can't remember. I think this one's from like 2014 or something. So it would have been nice to probably get an updated one. But other than that, we have like these
England
bad
and
boys.
Scotland.
I feel like Vanna White. Like, look at we have London 2008 still. It's vintage.
That's old. It might be a little out of date.
Best day trips from London. We're
Probably
good.
2008 as well.
We're good. Yeah. Hopefully you guys at home are laughing just as much as we are at ourselves.
Yeah. And I get it, Scorpio Sue, but they're not new guidebooks.
That's true.
Which,
It is a thing. It is a thing.
She even says it is a thing.
Yeah. And
There we go.
And that I agree. I try to get new ones. So we have like several versions of the Rick Steves Amsterdam one, which is kind of comical because they all look the same. They're just like edition 2, edition 3. But yeah, I mean, it is nice to have like updated hours, especially like updated museum rates, because a lot of times museums will increase their rates or maybe change their hours really slightly, and same with restaurants and stuff. So yeah, and of course, like hotels might stop being nice after a while.
Yeah.
Like they might change management. Same with restaurants. So yeah.
Yeah. So Nick Barnett's asked, which city?
BC before COVID. Yeah, I mean, literally, 2008 is, but also like all of the other ones are BC as well. So yeah.
Nice. But Nick Barnett's asked, which city that you've traveled to has had the best public transit?
My favorite. Okay, so it's a good question. I want to give like honorable mentions to Boston and DC, but I think my favorite.
DC is very clean.
My favorite public transit is London, France, and New York. Like Paris and New York have great subway systems, really, really good. However, I feel like they're significantly dirtier than the other three cities that I mentioned. New York especially. I mean, like, just dirt.
Chicago's is pretty gross too, though.
Yeah, no, I didn't say Chicago.
Chicago's not even an honorable mention. It gets cold.
No, Chicago's public transit's tricky. The thing that I like about it, especially compared to New York, is that you can take the subway directly from either Chicago airport, and it costs the same amount of money as going anywhere else. Whereas with New York, to get from every airport on public transportation, you spend a very large amount of money. Comparatively.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's probably the best thing that Chicago has going for it, is that you can take the blue line from, O'Hare and get it into the city, straight into a loop. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, Thomas says he'll take the tube, and I believe he suffers a little bit from asthma, so I mean, that's saying something. The specific...
I think it's hot, though.
Yeah, it does get hot in summer. The specific tube line, though, that I find to be much harder on the lungs is the northern line. It's like the Thomas is going to fact check me, I'm sure, on this one, but I believe it's the deepest line. It's like the black one that runs north-south through the city, and it's just got a little bit more like grit in there, I feel, than the other ones.
Yeah. I'd say the one that I like riding the most is probably the tube in London, because the delightful accents and like mind the gap, and like it's just, and like the names of the stations are just like something out of a fantasy book. It's like King's Cross, or like just, all the different things.
This is bank change here
Yeah.
for the Circle, District, Northern, Waterloo and City lines, and the DLR. I probably missed one in there.
I don't know.
I'll look it up in the London book.
But yeah, no, it's delightful. It's fun. If I'm on the Paris train, I just don't know what they're saying, don't understand it. So it is what it is.
Thomas says there is a surge charge from O'Hare, which I don't believe is true because we take it all the time. But maybe there is if you're buying a one-way pass. One-way? I don't think so, actually, because I do that all the time too.
I don't know. I've never noticed
It's
that.
always like $2.25. Or $2.50 now, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nostalgic. I love TV.
Thanks everybody for not like literally laughing at my fake British accent. Sometimes it's hit or miss.
Yeah. You should hear her when she's trying to be Irish.
Oh, I don't even try. that one's a miss.
So Nick Barnett says that I had a fairly easy time with public transit. The one time I went to Chicago, including getting to and from Midway Airport. Yeah, it's very easy. Scorpio Sue says that the tube is like an art museum. So much history in some of them. Some of the stops, yeah. Brian says that the T, as dirty as it may be, was the first in the U.S.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
What's the T? Is that Boston?
Yeah, that's the Boston one. I always thought the New York one was the first, but I must be wrong.
I don't know. Amsterdam and Copenhagen have great public transit. So yeah, in Amsterdam, I really do enjoy the tram system that they have. It makes it pretty easy to get to like the far-flung parts of Amsterdam. Not only that, but it's like super easy if you want to use bikes and stuff as well to help you kind of get around all over the place. So there's a lot of good cheap options. Also the ferries, if you're trying to, go north of Amsterdam, like up to where they had the Amsterdam Tower and all that kind of stuff. It's free, it's super easy and quick and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
and they run super often.
By the way, I should tell you guys, so I'm drinking Vandermill Totally Roasted Cider. Shout out in the live chat if any of you guys have ever had it. It is so good. It's like kind of caramelly in a way too. It's like a caramel apple. I don't know.
Yummy.
It's from Michigan. It's delish. All right, so let's catch up on what everyone's saying.
So Nick Barnett says Athens has really good subway, but there's not many lines, so the public transit there is only great if you only need the subway. But taxis are cheap there, so that helps.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what we should say too is, so we had to take the subway when we were in Beijing, and we got on and went the wrong direction for like 13 subway stops before we realized that we were going the wrong way.
Forget about that. And it's one of those things where it's like it's such a big city. It's so massive.
You're
just like, oh my god.
Such a blunder.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that happened.
Sorry, I had to interject with that story. Anyway.
So Capicco says, what about DC's metro system? Unfortunately, it breaks down a lot, but the architecture in each of the stations is really striking. Yeah, and it's also very clean because of the whole, like, you're not supposed to eat or drink anything. It's, they keep it pretty nice.
Yeah, I said DC, right?
Yeah,
Before?
we talked,
Yeah, okay. I'm like, did I imagine that? Okay, yeah. I agree. I think DC's is pretty.
Yeah. So Mo says Rotterdam Central Station is really cool to see futuristic architecture, and the public transport is top notch.
So we were supposed to go to Rotterdam in March. So we still have not seen it, unfortunately. But by the time, I think we were supposed to go like March 10th. And by then, Rotterdam had much higher case rate of COVID than Amsterdam, so we just didn't go. Yeah.
And then our trip got called short.
But my grandfather was in Rotterdam for quite a while, and as an adult before he moved to the U.S. So I really wanted to go there just to be able to kind of like see the city and everything like that. Mark Finley, hi, welcome.
Hey, Mark.
Sorry, I didn't even see you there. He says he spent a week riding the DC Metro and was very impressed with it. Yeah, I think the DC Metro is fantastic. And then no breakdowns at all for them. And then Mo says to Nick, especially at night when the clotting turns golden. I missed something.
Okay, so Nick
it's something from Rotterdam, I think.
So Nick Barnett says, I've been to Amsterdam a few times and found that the trams would be very convenient for staying outside of the immediate center to not pay super high accommodation prices, but get in and out easily. Yeah, it's nice. We took it a few times and we found that just getting the day pass, maybe so that you're a lot more likely to get on, because you're like, well, we need to get at least like 4 uses out of it to make it worth the day pass.
And that happens in a lot of cities too. Like with all the day passes that are available, you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna be bopping around town in order to get my money's worth today.
Yeah, and once you make that decision to go with the day pass as opposed to like pay as you go, it just makes it so much more efficient to like get to more things quicker. And that's like one of those things that Rick Steves talks about a lot is time is money. So your time is valuable when you're on tour. You only have a limited amount of time, whether that's 7 days, 10 days, or 2 months, and you want to get as much out of it as you can because you're paying a lot of money just to be there. So paying that extra little bit of money to get somewhere quicker and faster can save you a lot of hassle and make your trip a lot easier. And that's something I think we definitely agree with.
Yeah. I think we skipped. So Nick says he connected in Rotterdam from Leiden to Paris. Yeah, we were also supposed to go to Leiden, but the transit system just generally, like the trains in the Netherlands, are phenomenal. Really, really easy to get everywhere.
So Megan Morris, when you guys did China, did you get a visa in advance or just do the 7-day visa on arrival? So we were there for closer to 2 weeks. so we couldn't do that. So we got ours in advance.
Yep. We went to the consulate here in Chicago, which I know that not everybody lives in a city that has a Chinese consulate. So for us, it was probably a lot easier being, a couple miles from it. But we
it's not
arrived,
what I expected.
So it was on like the 5th floor of a building that has, I think, a few other consulates in it. And you go up and it's kind of just this one big room.
Yeah.
And
it feels a lot like the DMV, actually.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
Like it's a more hectic DMV. It's kind
Right.
of what it feels like here in Chicago. Like, it's funny too because there's even like a security guard and like a metal detector, and like we're trying to figure out like, do you need to check bags? And they're basically just like waving people, and they're like, yeah, we don't care, Just
Yeah, I think you can also like mail it in. You don't have to go.
Yeah.
I believe, but for us, it was just a little bit easier to just go. And we had to turn over our passports. I think we got them back like a week or two later.
Yeah, we got them back really quick, actually. So that was actually really nice.
But the main important thing was because we were staying with my friend for the first part of our trip when we were in Shanghai and not staying at a hotel. We actually needed to get a signed invitation letter from him saying I'm inviting them to stay at my place during this trip. So like basically China wants to keep track of everywhere that someone will be staying, so a hotel booking will count as that.
Yep.
And you don't need to get like a signed letter, but because we weren't staying at a hotel, it's a little bit different.
Nick Barnett says, I feel like I'm in a bomb shelter in the DC subway, the way the stops look. Yeah, they are kind of interesting.
I don't know about that. I feel like some of them have really nice architecture.
No, but I can see what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can see it. I don't know. But he also says, absolutely, and if you have to travel on a tight budget all the time, you get used to being as efficient as possible with your time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thomas Arthur, I love it. Turn me loose for the day pass and I go nuts. Woo! Perfect.
Mo says, I was shocked to see double-decker trains in the Netherlands. Didn't even know they existed. Wonderful place. Nice. Yeah, we have those here in Chicago, too, on the Metro.
Yeah,
The
the commuter
double-deckers.
trains that my parents used to commute into the city growing up. Because I grew up in the suburbs and they worked downtown. It was always double-decker here. And, like, if I ever got to go to, take your daughter to work day, oh man, was I riding on the top level. That's for sure.
It's where all the cool kids hang out, I guess.
That's
on
the
top
spot.
deck.
Yeah.
Bonnie, sorry to hear that you had a bad experience on the tram in Budapest.
Oh no.
Maybe it was just a one-time thing, but not sure I'd take it again. Sorry to hear that.
It does stink. We still need to make it to Budapest. We want
We
to
do wanna
go.
go to
That's actually, I
Budapest.
think somebody was asking about 2021 trips. And we have a short list, if you will. It just all depends on like
I mean, it's a
what
long
time
list.
of year. Yeah, I guess long list. But it all depends on like time of year that we
Everywhere.
feel comfortable traveling, how long, and that sort of thing. And right now we're playing so much by ear that it's really hard to nail down vacation time for next year for us. But
I mean, we're playing everything by ear. Even like
This
our
year-
proposed trip to the UK in
True.
a month or two is playing it by ear.
That's
we don't
true.
know.
We have nothing booked.
Are Americans
We have-
going to be allowed to that
We have
point? Who
flights that we have like pinpointed pretty much which flights we want
Yep.
to take and which Airbnb we want to stay at. So please don't jump in and book that one.
We'll be fine.
But we have not booked everything yet because we're just trying to be as careful about it as possible.
Yeah. Nick Barnett points out that the LIRR, the Long Island Railroad, has double
Yeah,
deckers too.
it does. Yeah.
I've ridden on that before.
Yep. Me as well.
Darien.
The LIRR, Long Island Railroad, is probably one of my least favorite commuter trains. I'm not going to lie to you all.
She used to do it a lot for work
Yeah.
when we lived out in New York.
Yeah.
She had clients out on Long Island.
It's
that
pretty
she'd have to go see.
timely, though. Like, they don't run late. It's just kind of like a meh overall experience.
Darien agrees that the top level is awesome. So that's good. And Nick Barnett says, I'm hoping to be in Thessaloniki, Greece next year. So be sure to stop by there.
Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We would love to go to Greece. So, anyway, so what we were saying before is kind of like all of like that Eastern Europe corridor that we haven't really visited is, Greece, Croatia, Hungary, Prague. Like, I don't know if Prague's really east. It's more central, but like kind of Prague eastward is really on our radar. But then also to Australia was somewhere that we really actively were trying to go to in 2020.
New Zealand.
Yeah, maybe New Zealand. On top of that, depending on
things.
Yeah, time. And we also were looking actively at Africa, whether that be Morocco or South Africa. Yep. Again, all that depends on timing. Like Morocco's a lot easier from a timing perspective to do than South Africa would be. We would have to like go a specific time of year, have a specific amount of vacation days. So yeah, we'll see. But hopefully you guys are just as inspired as we are right now of like having all these options and just dying to go somewhere.
Darian says, I can understand that playing by the ear is in these days. However, I'm still holding on to my ears for Germany in September. LOL. Nice.
I love it. I'm hoping you can go. I know you keep having to push everything back.
Bonnie says she promises she won't steal our flight. That's nice. And Lori Sims says that there is now a rail that connects Vienna to Prague to Budapest. Great trip. That's a trip that we definitely want to do is hit up Vienna, Prague, and Budapest.
We've mapped that out. And kind of like vice versa. Like, I don't know if I assume the rail, you could do it reverse as well. Like Budapest, Prague, Vienna too. So, yeah, we've looked it up both directions.
Yeah. Thomas says that Bratislava is not on his list because his sister and a friend from the UK got harassed by plainclothes transit inspector.
Oh, no.
And he now calls it the city that shall not be named.
Oh,
I'm sorry
gosh,
to hear that.
Yikes.
Darian says, I want to go to Greece as well and may include a Germany trip when I go to 2021 as well. Shocking you want to go to Germany.
I know, man. Hi, Kathy, by the way. Welcome
hey,
to you.
Kathy. How you doing?
Yeah, Drew says I still have nightmares about the Jamaica stop on the LIR. And that's how you like have to transfer if you're trying to get to JFK Airport from the city. You must transfer at Jamaica. So it's I never actually had a bad experience there, but it's not necessarily somewhere I would just like go and hang out all day at.
At the Jamaica station?
Yeah.
They got a Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh man, change of plans.
I'd go there. No, I mean I've been there a few times. It's not great, but it's not.
It's a train station.
It's a train station. I don't know.
In a place.
Maybe different times of the day, not so great.
Yeah, that's true. If I would fly into JFK and land like super, super late, I probably would opt to take like an Uber or something and just spend the extra money because changing at Jamaica, like transferring at Jamaica by myself super late at night wasn't always something I wanted to do after a long flight.
So, Nick Barnett says, for Africa, I really would love to visit Rwanda, even before being further convinced by Mark and Jocelyn's videos. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go there. Nice.
Yeah, and they didn't see the gorillas, which I feel like obviously it's super expensive to do, and you have to make reservations and everything like that. But if I go to Rwanda, hopefully someday, I want to do the gorilla tour.
Yeah, of course. Actually, we were at an event and got to meet a tour guide from Rwanda, who I have his card actually, and he is the tour guide who is very close with like Jack Hanna and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to call him up and see if we can afford him. We go, but
probably not.
He was a really cool guy though. I really liked him. He was neat.
Just one of us will be able to go.
We drank a lot together at that party, so it was a good time.
Yeah. Hey, Katie Smith, welcome. Okay. So where do we leave off?
Somewhere that says South. Oh yeah, Bonnie is telling us that South Africa has better wine than Morocco. Yes.
I do. I'm very pro wine. I believe we
am-
established this last night
I'm pro wine
the
as
other
well.
live stream. But yeah, I definitely would be interested in going to the Stellenbosch region of South Africa.
Nick D's telling us that Sydney's rail system was super easy, but Melbourne's was a bit confusing. So that's good to know.
Interesting.
Yep, and Nick Barnett is saying that Vienna, Prague, and Budapest is a really good collection in one trip. And he did Budapest, Vienna, Prague, Munich once long ago. That'd actually be a really good one.
Yeah.
And in Munich or something like that, because we've never been. I've been to Germany on business before. Eliz has never been to Germany, but Munich in the south. That's the part of Germany that I want to go spend some real time in.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I honestly kind of want to spend
If
some
it's
real
in
time
September
in a lot
around
of places.
Oktoberfest, I'd do that too.
I'd like to go to a lot of places in Germany. Not just Munich, not just Bavaria, a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. So Lori Sims says, my trip was Venice to Vienna to Prague, flew to Budapest, and had to fly then to Dubrovnik. No train available. Interesting. There's a lot of discussions about Jamaica Station.
Oh yeah, Mark's right. Mark Finley's saying Mark and Jocelyn couldn't do the gorillas because their kids weren't old enough to do it with them. Yes, that's another very important point.
Yep.
Yeah, but the kids loved Rwanda. It sounds like I
it sounds
every
like they had
time
a
they
great
talk
time.
to Caleb and Liam, they're like, we want to go back.
Although I do love the youngest one, Liam, who kept saying that he wants to go to Mexico because he likes Mexico. I was like, the kid's right after my own heart. I love this kid. It was so great. Mo, I've seen most of Northern Ireland, want to explore the South, but I need a visa.
Yeah.
Doubt I'll be allowed one now, so I have to wait and see. Next year I'll apply for British citizenship because Mo took the test.
Yes.
He passed the test.
Woo!
Good job, bud.
Yeah, that'll be. I didn't realize, I don't know what the visa process is for Ireland versus the UK for, I believe you're from Kuwait, so maybe we can connect offline just to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Nick Barnett says he does recommend Munich and the surrounding area for sure. Been twice and loved it. And Darian is saying a great trip on a train, Prague, Munich, etc. And of course, Garmisch. Because it's only a 45-minute car ride away and an hour and 15-minute train ride away. And there's a big mountain.
Yeah. And Sue says maybe we need a guide to magnificent Germany. We would definitely be hitting up Darian for some tips if we get to Germany next year. That's no question.
Ryan and I are going to go to Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Is what is coming out of
I'll
this.
probably go too. I feel like because I don't drink beer, I'm going to be such a waste at Oktoberfest. Does anyone know, do they serve anything besides beer, like cider? Let me know. You'd be like, I'm embarrassed by her. I don't know her.
The things I deal with.
Oh, I know. I'm so difficult. I love you too.
Okay, so we actually had something to talk about.
I know, we haven't talked about it yet.
Yes. But we were thinking about talking about kind of our views around places outside of major cities. The idea being, that we actually, when we travel...
Thank you, Darian. Yes. They have tons of cider as well, he says.
I see they have tons of cider.
And Darian will be with us at Oktoberfest, so it's happening.
And Bonnie has reminded us that they also drink wine in Germany. They have Riesling.
They do.
Or is it Riesling?
They have several wine regions. They have Riesling among many others, I believe.
There's one wine that actually I really enjoyed that we had at Will Glass's house. It was something that I couldn't pronounce.
I could not pronounce that either.
There's so many vowels and stuff. She was like...
It was a very expensive Wheel of Fortune word.
Yeah.
Mark Finley says,
delicious.
when Terry and I went to Hofbrauhaus, we split one of those monster beers and left 3/4 of it not beer drinkers. High five to you guys. We can be with that together.
So
I went to the top of the Guinness factory in Dublin, and you get a free Guinness, and both me and my best friend don't drink beer, so we had like one sip, and then we're like, all right, this was fun. But we did it. Did it.
Such a waste.
Check.
So in New York, I used to always go to Oktoberfest. New York actually has a really good Oktoberfest down on the East River that one of the local beer halls puts on. That's really cool, and it's like big tents and stuff, and it feels very authentic, I guess, and whatnot. Bunch of German people love it, and they do like those giant steins that, like, by the end of the day, night, whatever, of drinking, like, I've got like a bruise on my hand from holding this like massive beer all night. Go through like 3 of those, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's great. So.
Darian says, from Magnificent Germany with Darian, I want to see Derek in Lederhosen. So we have some friends that have some Lederhosen down in Atlanta. Maybe if we make it down to Atlanta this fall, we'll have Derek try on the Lederhosen there.
I can't fit into Brian's Lederhosen. But yeah, no, actually, Lederhosen is super expensive.
It is.
Like, for real stuff. So, interesting. So, Mo says, thankfully Ireland isn't a Schengen state, so it's a lot easier. Apply online and post my passport instead of applying through a third-party visa office and have an interview in England. Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and actually Ireland's one of those places that you can go to as an American citizen right now in Ireland if you do a 14-day quarantine similar to the UK. And what we were looking up is that if you actually do that and you want to do your 2 weeks in Ireland, you can then spend some time in Ireland and then cross the border, and you don't have to quarantine again then in the UK. So it would allow you to do kind of one quarantine and then, you know, experience 2 countries instead of just one. So something to think about. I don't know.
It might be different for different citizenship too,
but
right?
Well, no, I don't think so. But I also don't know that.
Hey, gals, welcome.
My thing is, I don't know that it works conversely, where if you spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is in the UK, if you can go without quarantine and then into Ireland. So that's kind of a question.
Yeah.
So Mark Finley says, Darian wanted me to hold the beer with my hand all the way through the handle, but it wouldn't fit. My hand was way too big. Dang.
Man. Darian says you can actually rent Lederhosen for about 50 euros a day during Oktoberfest. Yes, I knew about that too, which I feel like you have to do, right? Like, it's part of the budget for going to Oktoberfest? I don't know.
I guess.
Maybe at least one day.
Meg Morris is asking, isn't there a large Oktoberfest somewhere in Georgia? Darian, have you been?
Oh, is there?
I feel like he probably has. And he says, absolutely, I will be there in October as well. It's located in Helen, Georgia.
Nice.
So.
I think that's the place that we mentioned, was being mentioned on our live stream months ago now, where we talked about places in North America that have a European vibe. And there's actually a lot of different towns throughout the U.S. especially that have Germanic influences. So I believe Helen, Georgia was one of them. Means to Hosen. With pics of you just drinking beer across the world in Lederhosen.
Nice.
Woof! That's a channel.
Means to Hosen.
It probably will get more subscribers than mine.
It's for a really interesting subset of people out there.
There's a niche.
There's a niche. God, that sounds...
Such a marketing nerd. I could see that.
Galvin, guys, I know we're late, but you guys already talked about the latest State Department travel updates.
We didn't.
We did not.
No.
Tons and tons as well. So, I heard something about we're at, like, the second highest right now, the State Department. Somebody else had talked about that.
Yeah, I need to know from you guys what's going on, I think. And then Mo's saying getting a Schengen visa can cost him around 400 quid because he needs to pay for flights and accommodation too. Yeah, probably two.
Okay, they lifted the global do not travel advisory.
Oh, did they? Oh, let's break some news, to me at least. Man, no wonder Galvanting gals were late. This is important breaking news. What were we doing? We were just cleaning out an air conditioner. UK is at level 3. Most places are still level 4, but other places are 2 and 3. Man. Okay. Derek's going to read this real quick and then summarize it, and I'll just keep talking. Alright. So, Darian says that he'll do it if you do it, Derek, with the lederhosen.
Nice.
Then Mo's saying there is no visa required between the UK and Ireland. You can drive from Northern Ireland to the Republic with no issue at all. Brexit has brought another issue with the border, and it's a mess. Yeah. So what are we summarizing? A couple sentences. Let's go. What happened?
Well, basically, ever since March 19th, we'd been at level 4 do not travel advisory by the State Department.
For other people. For us to go. For us not to leave. Okay.
Yeah, and they've lifted that. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. It's an interesting choice. Okay, so yeah, gallivanting gals.
Probably because it's worse here than other places. So.
Yeah, so Fiji and Tahiti, right? I mean, that's probably true. Yeah, so Fiji and Tahiti are only level 2. We have done Tahiti, but not Fiji, and also Thailand is only a level 2. I'll have to start looking at what Asia looks like.
All right, so Gallivanting Gals is saying it makes a difference for travel insurance as far as claims because it's now not a global advisory.
Oh, terrific.
Interesting.
That's good to know.
There we go.
Yeah, we've been talking offline with the gals a little bit on travel insurance and researching what we need. And we don't have answers for everybody yet. So
Something like 7.
We're all learning together.
Yeah. So we will see. Glory Sim says that most of her Euro travel destinations are level 3.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So why don't you go check that out? So what we were going to talk about though today was a little bit about traveling outside of the major cities and our views around that a little bit. And the whole thing here is that whenever we travel, we typically would go on like 10-day type trips, and we'd usually try to spend about half of that inside of a major city and another half of that outside of the major city. So call it 4 to 5 days in a city, 4 to 5 days out. Most of that's that we would be traveling through a major airport, obviously coming from the U.S. if you're going to the UK.
Right.
Or kind of wherever you're kind of traveling through cities that are big enough to have airports. So, since you're already there, it's nice to go see that big city, whether it's London, Paris, etc. But, it's also nice to get out of the city. Living in Chicago, having lived in New York.
Yeah.
We live in big cities, so it's kind of nice to get outside of that occasionally.
Yeah. It's funny because it's so rejuvenating for us to go to a place that feels super remote, especially when we lived in New York City. I feel here in Chicago it's still that way, but when we were in that like hustle and bustle of New York, oh man, just going anywhere that you felt like you saw trees was like amazing. But yeah, I think we wanted to talk today just about a couple of our favorite places that we've been to that are pretty remote, and maybe even like small towns that we really, really have enjoyed. And then also talk about kind of what you need to think about when you're going to smaller destinations. So for us, that might be a little bit different if it's like within your home country versus abroad.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with? Just our favorite destinations? You have so many. Let's hear Derek's favorite ones.
I don't know, like favorite like non-major city destinations.
Yeah.
I'd say like the Bath region in England. So if you're
I
going
would call
to
that still like a small city though.
it's a town and it's
I would have
by
said
the
more
Cotswolds.
like the Cotswolds. Yeah.
So I would count that.
Okay.
It's like Stonehenge, Cotswolds.
I won't get technical.
Well, it's not a major city.
Sure.
It's a little bit more like
It's a minor city.
It's a town. A rather large town. I don't know. We never defined this.
We don't have the right parameters for him to wrap his mind around.
So
the
I was thinking,
Cotswolds is really more of like the area that I want to call out.
Like
as
Bath doesn't have an international airport to fly into.
That's true.
Guess I don't know.
I love both of them. Shout out to Bath. Shout out to the Cotswolds. Go ahead.
Shout out to Julia Daniese. Welcome.
Hi, Julia. Welcome. Happy belated birthday.
So, from London, I'd say it's like that, or it's really the one from London that I can think of. And then if you look at more like the whole of the Highlands up in Scotland, so getting out of Edinburgh or Glasgow, if you're flying into those airports, and it's pretty amazing how quickly it turns pretty rustic and rural. So kind of doing, what we did where we flew into Glasgow. We flew in and out of Glasgow, but we immediately kind of got out of the city once we landed, did a whole drive up through the Highlands, did like Oban and Glenfinnan and Isle of Skye and all this stuff. And we didn't go to like a real city, big town until we hit Inverness up in the north. Spent a day there and then came down and spent a few days, probably about 5 days between Edinburgh and Glasgow, and the other 5 days on the road in the Highlands.
So, when you're visiting those areas, what I want to call out is like important things to think about that perhaps are not part of your like day to day, if you especially are coming from a big city, is mapping out your entire route beforehand and like maybe downloading your map beforehand, because there are going to be points where like maybe your GPS just stops working because the cell phone service is no longer there, something like that. So when you're in those remote spots, it's just like preparation in advance becomes really, really key. So definitely mapping things out, definitely making reservations at the local restaurants. So like there have been so many times, like countless times, that Derek and I just have not made reservations in advance, and because that's just not really our style, because we don't always know exactly when we're going to arrive in a place, for example. And then we'll get to a smaller town, and literally on like a Friday night, every single person in the small town is eating at the local hotspot. And we're like, we end up having to wait until 9:30 at night for like the last tables and stuff like that. So just trying to figure out, first of all, which restaurants you are like the places to go in those towns, and then also to generally making a reservation if you can, really, really key.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I can remember that really biting us is when we were in Oban in Scotland, because we're like, well, we'll be able to like go somewhere and stuff, but all like the nicer places, there's not many. We're definitely full up, and they're like, yeah, you're not going to get in today.
Especially, oh my gosh, at Isle of Skye.
And then we had to end up going to a
We went to Isle of Skye in like August. Didn't make reservations. Not a good idea.
I don't know. I remember being an issue in Skye.
Oh,
we were there
yeah.
for like a night.
No, we ended up having to eat at the hotel restaurant.
Oh, I thought we chose.
It was great. It was still great, but
Yeah.
like we could, all of the restaurants that were like recommended to us, because I asked a lot of people who had already been, they were all completely booked. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware. I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
So,
We
especially because we were there one day and the weather turned out to be really nice when we first got there. So we're like, well, we're not going. And that was a really nice dinner.
It
At
was.
the hotel. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But when we got there, we're like, crap. Well, we wouldn't have made any reservation plans anyways, because we're like, we need to go out and like see stuff now because it's going to rain tomorrow, and like we need to go out and like see stuff. So we like checked into the hotel, jumped in the car, and like took off.
It's a trade-off, especially if you're going to a place with tough weather.
Yeah. So planning ahead is very key. Whether that's downloading maps, etc. Because maybe you have shoddy reception, and we've had that in Italy and France and Scotland and all over the place. But that also brings to mind that if you're doing more of like a small town rural type thing, having access to transit is important. And so for that, I'd say that renting a car a lot of times when you're doing this is very much the thing to do, because then you have freedom of your time and being able to get around as you want to. You don't have to wait for a bus. You don't have to wait for whatever other kind of transit you would be taking. And you can get to some places where like a big bus can't get to. So like, for instance, in Scotland, there's certain hikes and things that big buses are not allowed out to because the roads don't handle them. So you need to have your own car. You know, if you're thinking of, and this is different between domestic and international, but if you're in the U.S., I'd say get an SUV, something nice and big, because the roads can handle it. Whereas if you're in Europe, my recommendation is typically get the smallest car you can possibly get. Maybe not like a Mini Cooper, but like something kind of small, because you don't want to be in a giant SUV
that's actually
on tiny
super
roads.
True. In the UK, we recommend the small ones, but in the US, if you're going to be going
Italy
to like really
France.
remote places, I recommend something with like 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because you're going to be like totally off-roading, but even, for example, when I went to Red Rock Canyon National like recreational area right outside of Vegas in January, I was in a sedan, like a rental car sedan, and there was this one trailhead that I wanted to kind of like go check out, but it had gravel road, and just because the sedan was like such a low riding vehicle, it really didn't feel like I was in the right car. So yeah, something to think about.
Yeah. So to me, cars, renting a car is really nice when you're doing this kind of thing. Obviously you want to be safe about it, and you want to understand like the rules of the road and figure out if you need to have an international driver's license from like AAA or something like that, which is super easy to get. You just go pay a fee basically, and they pretty much just, you take like a passport type photo. I think it takes like 40 minutes. There's no test or anything. As long as you have a valid U.S. license, they'll give you one. And basically what it does is it just takes your license and it translates it into a bunch of different languages, so that if you get pulled over by Italian police officers, like what happened to us, you hand it to them in the Italian page, and they can read your license. Not that I did anything wrong. It was a routine traffic stop. Just want to make sure I hadn't been drinking because we're in wine country.
So we're missing a lot, actually. I just wanted to back up for a
I'm
second.
going to get more beer.
Okay.
Do you want another?
Sure, you want to grab another cider?
Yes.
So I just wanted to answer, I don't know where it went, but somebody asked me if my cider was sweet. I don't care for cider that's too sweet. Usually mine are semi-sweet to dry. I would just describe this one as semi-sweet. It's certainly not like dry, but it's very palatable for me. I'm trying to see if it actually says on the side of the can. But what's cool, it says ingredients is apple cider, sugar, cinnamon, pecans, and vanilla. Pecans? I don't know. Oh, here it is, yeah. So it's closer to dry than sweet. Hopefully that helps. All right, and Derek is drinking a Michelob Ultra, which is more keto friendly. And then, yeah, so I'm catching up a little. I've been reading a little bit on Gallivanting Gals' exchange. So it sounds like you all might be making it to Ireland or the UK, as long as Tracy doesn't have to have surgery now. Man, if you both have to have surgery this year, that sucks. But I hope you guys are both doing okay. And again, if you go, just let us know, because we might be there too. And then you're saying you were looking into cottages in the Cotswolds for quarantine, and also Bristol and of course County Kerry. Found some awesome places. Yeah. And piggybacking on that, I suppose, is I started like favoriting so many great Airbnbs for quarantine. I have like an entire folder basically on Airbnb of different places to go. I think a cottage would be really cool. I was looking at a few of them. However, we want to be probably in a little bit more urban environment than in the Cotswolds per se, just because I like being able to order in. Like, I don't want to have to cook every single night. But I mean, if you guys are good cooks, then like go for it. They're saying that Gallivanting Gals are saying that they're looking at cottages in the Cotswolds for quarantine.
Oh, nice. Bristol. Yeah, Bristol is what we're looking at.
Yep.
Or at least what we've been looking at.
Yeah, we found a really cool looking place in Bristol, so hopefully it doesn't get booked. We'll see. And then but she's also saying to Nick that Tracy now maybe has to have surgery too. So I know Melinda was having knee surgery.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Katie Smith is saying, Eliz and Derek, is your UK journey still happening in the fall? Currently, that is the plan.
Yes. It's plan A. Plan B is probably a U.S. road trip. Ideally, it would be like go somewhere else would be plan B, but as of like the options at present, plan B is U.S. road trip.
Yeah.
If those options change for us Americans, we'd probably be adding other countries to the list.
Yeah. Really what it comes down to is if we can get to a place with no quarantine, and it just requires like a negative COVID test within a certain window, 72 or 48 hours before you go, we'd probably go to places. Otherwise, if you had to do any sort of extended quarantine, it needs to be a big enough place that we feel like we can go spend an extended amount of time which is why the UK was a great option for us, because there's so much to see and do in the UK. And you know, the UK is great because you have England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. You have 4 different countries that you get to go to, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Nick P says the other half of the bird fell out.
I purposely didn't read that out loud.
Yuck. He hit a bird.
So sorry, Nick. Anyway, so Katie's saying that when she visited Isle of Skye, she saw nothing due to the torrential rain. We had torrential rain when we first were driving into it. Oh my gosh, it was so difficult to just drive on the highway there because the visibility was really bad and the lanes are so narrow.
I do like that Catherine R says, I hate it when that happens. At Nick P.
Yeah, it's Kathy.
I know.
Okay. And then Thomas asked Nick if he's been to the railroad park yet. So we'll see if Nick responded to that.
Alberto Jimenez Avila, welcome.
Nice to see you. Yes, thanks for joining, Alberto. I believe he's in Acapulco, if I'm remembering correctly, which would be super cool if we got to go to.
Yeah, Mexico would be awesome.
Yeah. I think I made something maybe jumped a little bit. Okay. Sue says not too far from DeKalb, Sycamore, which has a Portillo's, or get beer nuggets in DeKalb depending on your schedule. She's talking to Nick. Yeah. Portillo's is great. If anyone is ever passing through the Chicago area, it's definitely a place to stop.
Yeah. So,
I really like their burgers. I know everyone like raves about their Italian beef and their hot dogs and stuff, but like I feel like the burgers need an honorable mention.
Well, the burgers taste great, and I'm not a big hot dog guy. I just don't like them. So yeah, their burgers are dope, and they do have really good milkshakes. I've never had their cake milkshake that everybody seems to rave about, though. Everybody talks about the milkshake.
Nick's saying that there's Portillo's back in Minnesota. Dang, they really are expanding, aren't they?
Bonnie is saying that she's still reeling from missing the safari. But if she has to stay in Canada, she's looking at going to Quebec City, coast of Newfoundland, or Yukon. So Quebec City is awesome.
Yeah.
That's where we got engaged, and I love it there. You know, it is very European.
Yeah. I like that you say touch of Europe because I'm like, it's like a big giant splash of Europe in a way.
Yeah.
Mo saying 100% something like a Ford Fiesta is good enough. Yeah, for going in the roads throughout the UK. Then Katie's saying that they go to the Philippines once a year. No plans for this year yet, though. Next week, my new job will tell me where I'm moving, so I'm waiting for that before I make plans.
Oh, wow.
Oh man! Wait, so are you leaving California, Katie? Well, potentially. Let us know.
Yeah.
And then, sorry about the safari. Yeah, I agree. For Bonnie. And then the gals are saying we will need some tips when we plan a trip there. high on our list for sure. I believe they're talking about the Philippines still. So, Derek's aunt is from the Philippines, but neither of us have gone.
Nope. Okay. So Megan Moore says random Amex Platinum offered tip: $100 credit on Dell purchases over $100. Literally, you can spend $100.01 and get $100 back. Must use Amex link. Also, $50 back on $200 at Marriott Bonvoy
Love
stays.
that. So we have used the Amex Platinum. Like, they have really great hotel benefits. So last year when we went to Moab, we got, I think it was like $100 off of a $300 Hyatt Place, purchase and stuff like that. So staying at Hyatt Place is kind of back to back. We were able to get some pretty good rebates there. So having Amex Platinum kind of like if you do it right and you travel a lot, truly, you can have the fee pay for itself for sure.
Oh, Mark Finley, have a great evening, bud. Thank you for joining us.
And you can... Oh, bye, Mark Finley. Thanks for joining. But with the Amex Platinum, also, like, we add it to our... the app on our phone, too, and you can just add those deals, like, from the app. You don't even have to do it on desktop.
So Katie Smith is saying she'll be assigned to her first country. Fingers crossed, someplace warm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Well, we're excited to see where you end up.
Totally. Wow, everyone's trying to tell Nick to go, like, to the Midwest places, and he's like, we have this.
We have Culver's. Culver's is delicious, though. Nick P says, I'm at the Rochelle Railroad Park now, Thomas.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. And Alberto is from Acapulco. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Yes,
bienvenido.
Galvin and Gals, we're sorry to hear about your Alaska trip had to be canceled to Thomas Reiser.
Yeah.
Yes, that's thanks.
Megan's, saying, I think a few more tips.
Yeah. So, Bonnie is saying, I often solo travel and meet up with people from the destinations, and that's so much more difficult now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants social distance.
I know, it's like,
Get away from me.
Even if we have, like, really close friends, it's just, we haven't physically seen most of them in so long.
Yeah, it's tough.
Megan's saying that her husband got a small business offer through his Delta Amex. Mine just renewed, and what I've been meaning to do is look up what's going on with the Companion Pass that's associated with Delta Amex. I know a lot of other credit cards, like the Southwest one does Companion Passes and stuff like that too. I can't speak to it. I need to look it up. But I had heard months ago that they were extending the deadline of when the Companion Pass needed to be used. So I'm hoping that that's still the case, because usually my deadline, at least, is like must be used each year by August 21st or something random like that. So yeah, I mean, we haven't been able to companion travel anywhere for months.
Yeah. Nick Barnett is saying that he loves Quebec City and it feels like a provincial town in France, which I think that's a great way of putting it. It does. It feels like a provincial French town.
It really does.
It's beautiful, awesome food, cobblestones, walls.
We also stayed at a really cool hotel that was not the Chateau Frontenac, but it was in the old town, right on the Petit Champlain, and it used to be like an old bank. So really, really thick walls. Cool. It was beautiful.
So Ryan Donahue has a question about Moab and whether or not we went rafting or off-roading.
There's so many options to do that. I have been rafting, so I've been rafting in southwestern Colorado, but not in Moab, which is close, but not too close, I suppose. And I had a great time. You definitely can raft. There's, I think, even like along the Colorado River there, it's pretty chill. So yeah, I think if we go back, I'd love to do that. There was tons of Jeep tours. Like everywhere you would go, driving down the main street in Moab, you would see those like Jeep rental places.
Yeah, no, it looked awesome. Our thing was that we were only there for a limited amount of time, and so
And we were
most of our
focused on the national parks.
yeah, so most of our time was really spent around arches, canyonlands, etc. Because I
Dead
think
Horse
we were only down there for like 3 days or something like that. So most of it was spent, one day in arches, one day in canyonlands, etc.
Yeah.
And then like a half a day when we first got there.
But you could totally spend a week there.
Yeah.
No question. There was definitely enough restaurants to get a diversity of food too, which for a place kind of in sort of the middle of not much, it was really a delight to see how many restaurants there were.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So we liked it. I would totally go back, especially because like a day in Arches is not enough time to see everything. It was also summer, so it was hot as heck. So getting out and doing the hikes was a little bit of a crapshoot, and you couldn't do too much in a given day. So I'd love to go back when it's a little bit cooler out, and maybe do a few more hikes, see some more stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
That was an example of when we did not necessarily rent like a car that would be able to do off-roading. So we would have had to hire another vehicle. Yeah, hopefully that answers that question. The Moab was beautiful. If you're considering going there, go. We loved it.
Well, Utah generally has so much to offer. I mean, you've got Moab. Salt Lake City is a really cool city, actually. It's neat. There's some really pretty things there. But then get out of there and you get down into the south, into like Moab. Go down more like the St. George area. Go check out Zion. There's some awesome national parks and really cool state parks.
Yeah.
Gals is saying, when are you all going to be in Indy so we can do some socially distant drinks on the patio?
Good question.
Soon-ish, we'll be out there.
We're actually probably going to be there like way more than usual over the next month.
Because my brother lives in the same town as you guys.
No.
Or
they
town
don't
over.
Live in
Sorry,
Carmel.
one town over. You guys are in Fishers. Sorry. My brother lives in Carmel, so he's like a town over from you guys.
Yeah.
So we'll be stopping there because I think I'm probably gonna be dropping some stuff off at their house that they had at my parents and stuff that I want to get to them. And so maybe we can stop by.
Yeah, that would be super fun. So we're definitely going to be there probably at least twice in August. So we'll let you know. We just are finalizing all of those plans, and then I think it's finally announced now. So we're going to be an aunt and uncle. His brother and our sister-in-law are having a kid in early January. So we will probably be there then.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be there. We'll drop you guys a line.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So Nick B is saying that he's using his GoPro 8 to capture passing trains, and he's got one for sure so far. So cool.
Sweet.
Galvin and Gals, I would be so happy if we could get into Canada right now. We have not spent any time there. Canada's awesome. I like Canada. Never been to Toronto, but I've been to Vancouver and I've been to Quebec City, and I love both those places.
Yep. Thomas Reiser, Indiana's rate is going up.
Yeah. That's why we only would plan to drive through.
Yeah, we're very, very careful about it all.
Family only.
Yep.
Ryan saying, I heard springtime is the best for rafting in Moab, based on water levels in the Colorado River.
I could see that.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because you'll have like the snow melt too from wintertime.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
What I will say about Indiana, though, because we're talking about Indiana rates and stuff, is that, it is now, you do have to wear masks in Indiana. I was actually just driving through there this last week. Went down to my parents' house, helped them paint their basement, which was a great time. And Eliz stayed home because she didn't want to paint. She's late.
That's not true.
I'm kidding. She was doing stuff here. But so I went down there to paint. So I was there for a few days, and I definitely think that the adhering to the mask rules was a little hit or miss. Like some places, everybody was definitely wearing them, and some other places not so much. So that was a little disheartening, but we definitely abide by the rules. So we.
It was a little different when we first were, because we were in Chicago for so long, where their masks were required, and then the first time that we went down to Indiana, when we did the live stream from there that many of you guys were watching, just like going to the grocery store, the difference between how it looked here versus how it looked there at the time was stark.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at it, like, the UK only recently made masks a thing. I mean,
tons of
Northern
places,
Ireland, Mo was saying only as of, like, Monday or something like that.
Right.
So, you know, it takes time for that to go into all
change,
places, yeah. So, Nick Barnett says, I'm staying put in upstate New York now because I'm not comfortable with the rate of spread in many other places, especially Indiana, where I was going to travel to see family.
He was going to go to Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to see in upstate New York, too. You've got a beautiful spot. I've been following along on your posts and stuff. And yeah, Kathy's she doesn't live in upstate, but I know that they travel there a lot.
Well, she says her parents are in Scroon Lake.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize they got out of Long Island.
Nervous about the tours there.
Yeah.
So Bonnie is saying it's been really nice here, 30 degrees Celsius, sitting on my deck, squirting water at the squirrels who are destroying my flowers, drenching them. It's an episode of Squirrels Gone Wild. Nice. That's
nice.
fun.
I wish we could pivot the camera over to you. That's so funny.
Mo had made a comment about being Iranian, and he was born and raised, though, in Kuwait. But unfortunately, but he's not Kuwaiti, because they don't give passports at all, even though my family has lived there since the late 1930s. A bit complicated. Yeah, it's hard to become a Kuwaiti citizen. I know that. I think you have to, marry into it at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if the spouse is. I know the kid would be. I don't know.
Really? Oh my goodness. I'm sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Mo knows.
If you are a Kuwaiti citizen, you do get some really great education bonuses.
That's true.
I knew a Kuwaiti who I think she had all of her education expenses for her Wharton education and then her Harvard Business School as well, which is pretty cool.
I feel like you said that so softly.
Sorry, Wharton and Harvard Business School paid for by Kuwait. Which is pretty cool. That's jealous.
Yeah. Me too. I didn't even know her.
Yeah. Mo gets to Iran every 5 or so years to visit family, so that's kind of cool.
It's funny how I feel like all of my friends here say that they're Persian. They don't say that they're Iranian. I don't know what the...
Like a Shah?
Yep.
Nick P. Masks were worn everywhere in Wisconsin and Illinois, but in Iowa, pretty much nobody's wearing them. It's sad. I mean, so my dad works for Cincinnati Public Schools, and... they actually just announced the other day while I was down there with them that I think their first 5 weeks are going to be remote learning, virtual learning. So, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, my expectation is that things aren't going to be great or much better 5 weeks from now as we move into fall. And so.
And the governor of Ohio just got diagnosed.
Yeah, and the governor of Ohio just got diagnosed with COVID. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. So Nick Barnett, yes, I consider myself extremely lucky to be at least here during this time if I can't be in Greece with my family and friends. Yep. Hey, silver lining, man.
I'm sure being in Greece with your family and friends would have been phenomenal, but you certainly have found a good plan B. It seems like you're in a really pretty area of the country.
So Katie is watching a show called Taste of a Nation, which is on Hulu. And it has a Persian episode, and now I want Tadij.
It's one of those.
I don't know how that's pronounced. So much good food, though.
Are we playing this game again, where we try to make Derek pronounce all the words?
German words, Persian words, all the words. It's all good.
Send Derek hard words to pronounce.
Let's not do that. Darian, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that's pronounced either, but I'm sure it probably is delicious.
That looks like gibberish. Darian, I don't think that's a word. I do love that whatever that is just got flagged by YouTube as like potentially spam.
Yeah. Gal Van says that's awful. I don't know what the response. Okay, wait. Mo.
I think it's about masks.
Oh, okay, yeah, masks. And then Nick
no,
says,
he's saying the Iranian passport's really bad. Yeah.
Nick says, tomorrow I'm meeting a friend for lunch in LaPorte, Indiana, before continuing on to Avon Lake, Ohio, near Cleveland. Cool.
Interesting.
So it sounds like you're kind of going in the northern parts of the states. Mo says, Derek, you're absolutely right. The government pays all the tuition. So this is the Kuwaiti government pays all the tuition fees plus gives the students money every month for expenses. Yep, we knew about that too.
Yep, because she had a kick butt awesome apartment, I guess.
Yeah. Like I didn't even really know her, and just hearing about her from Derek, I was like, oh, I'm so jealous.
I'm jealous. I didn't even know her in college.
Yeah.
But I know people who knew her in college. I'm like, yeah, she had an awesome place.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I mean, in certain towns, like, you know, you can get a good stipend, and then you're gonna get like the nicest apartment in those towns. Anyway, so. Yeah, Nick says New York, upstate New York is very underrated. I feel like I mean, maybe it's just underrated across the nation, but I feel like everyone when we lived in New York City wanted to go upstate all the time.
Finger Lakes.
Yep.
That's really all I know.
Yeah.
Adirondack.
The Catskills.
The Catskills.
Yeah.
Where the chairs are from.
There's an episode of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel where they go to the Catskills. Shout out if anybody has seen that too. Actually, I think it's several episodes. That's fun. It was a fun one. Yeah. So, we actually didn't get very far in our topic. We've had
people wanted to sidetrack.
We've had such great Q&A and conversations. If you have any more Q's, we can do that too.
If you have Q's, we might have A's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we talked about
cars.
So,
if you're going outside the U.S., make sure you get, and you don't know how to drive a stick, make sure you book it well in advance to make sure you get an automatic.
That is true.
Because they're less in demand there, so it's
harder. Hey, Eric Brown, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Eric, how was your bowling? Perfect game yet?
Yeah. So anyway, we also wanted to kind of give a shout out to the Mid-Atlantic states, and specifically, I know Katie Smith's gonna love this, but we really loved going to Delaware and exploring in that area, and loved Lewis. We loved what was.
I like Lewis.
I think it was
Rehoboth.
Cape Henlopen State Park over there.
Henlopen, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful spot, and it feels remote, but still pretty easy to get to from Philadelphia, Washington D.C., and New York City.
Baltimore,
yeah. But then of course in the U.S. the great places to go are national parks and state parks if you're going somewhere remote. But then there's also just a few other spots that maybe have wine regions or something like that. Even going to Sonoma County and then over into Mendocino or something like that can be a really nice trip.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the place I really got to go to is Spokane.
Just because you love that
Spokane.
Horrible poem in episode 1.
Man. Dean 2, welcome. How you doing, bud?
So we're just chatting about really great places to visit around the world, really, that could be remote destinations or and what to really think about when you're going to somewhere that's a little bit smaller. So another time that we've gone to kind of smaller regions is in Italy. So we were able to go to like the wine region.
Like in
for a
Piedmont and like Como and.
wedding.
Also, Dean is in Toronto, so we like Canada here. Bonnie's also from Canada, and we've talked a little bit about it. So, we definitely want to make it out to Toronto one of these days. We haven't been there yet, and I would love to go shooting because I love your photography out there, bud. So.
Oh, I'm gonna need to see it. I'll need to connect.
His latest one has some nice purple vibes to it.
And you've been into the purple vibes.
I've been doing a lot of purple vibes on my account, so
kindred spirits.
Dean, I really like it, so it's good. Yeah, so we you were saying though. Sorry. Yeah, that's all.
I just took a big sip. I'm like,
Drink.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we were in Italy.
Italy, yeah.
There we were.
Piedmont.
Yeah, no, it was that's another place where getting a restaurant reservation in advance would have been great, but we were able to kind of like walk into a lot of the neighborhoods spots fairly easily.
Yeah.
And had restaurant recommendations from friends of ours too. So we didn't have to like get there and then look everything up. But when you do go to like really small towns and stuff, a TripAdvisor might not be super useful because they might just not have that type of like rating system that maybe we're used to with TripAdvisor or Yelp. So yeah, just something to really keep in mind with like figure out how you're going to get access to food, like what the top choices are before going to somewhere more remote.
Yeah.
Figuring out if you're gonna have cell phone service and if you need to supplement that at all, like making sure that the place that you rent has Wi-Fi. We rented a cabin one time in Tennessee that we show up and it didn't have Wi-Fi.
I was told that there was going to be Wi-Fi because I had to work that weekend, and we get there and there's no Wi-Fi at all. I had to spend one whole day of that MLK Jr. weekend at a Starbucks the whole day until they kicked me out, and then I kept working outside in the cold.
In January.
It sucked.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah. Hey, Brenna, welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Kathy's on too. We got our crew.
Hello,
girl
Livestream participants. Oh, and Eliz and Darren. Very nice. So Galvan Gals asked a question though, which is, have you guys been to Croatia or Turkey? We've not been to either, but we want to go to both.
Yeah.
Turkey, I know, is one place that you can go. Both of those actually are on the list of places that Americans can travel to.
Yes.
We
currently are not considering those as much, probably until things change with the coronavirus. I think we kind of explained this 2 weeks ago now or something like that, but we are prioritizing going to places that are more English speaking just on the off chance of having to go to a doctor or get hospitalized or something really horrible. And we just want to be able to speak English with that scenario. That being said, there are a lot of options right now that we could be going, to if we change our minds on that.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey to me would be pretty cool, especially because Turkey's a big country as well, and there's a lot to see there. So that would be one of those places where even if we had to quarantine for a little bit, there's like things to do and see once you're out of it.
One of those had like a 7-day quarantine, right? Or am I making that up? We've looked at so many countries now that
Croatia
I think it was Croatia.
I'm not sure. Yeah, one of them definitely had a 7-day, but it's a question mark, and things can always change. One country right now might say, yeah, Americans can come in, and by the time we're ready to actually leave, that might change. So, we're still playing it all by ear, and our first choice is the UK. In like a month and a half. And if we can do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And we'd be very, very happy.
So
Dean is actually asking an interesting question, which is about health insurance that covers COVID. There's at least one that I've found.
Why don't you spend time looking that up, actually, because that could be a helpful resource for everybody. It was like 7 something that we were looking at, but we currently have health insurance, but we would want to add like supplemental travel health insurance.
It's called 7 Corners.
7 Corners.
So 7 Corners is a travel insurance company that has a specific policy for COVID-related expenses that you can get. So I think we were looking at it, and for like 2 people for a month-long stay in the UK, it was like $150 or something like that. It was relatively okay, in the grand scheme of things, if you're going to go there for a whole month. And for the peace of mind.
Yeah.
That said, the UK, like the National Health Services, NHS, in England has, interesting because they won't charge you for healthcare.
Yeah, Gallivanting Gal just mentioned that
Gallivanting just mentioned. So if you go there, you don't have to pay for tests, so you get free testing, and you also, anything that arises from COVID, they'll take care of. My assumption is that it's to keep people from not going and getting tested, not going and getting treatment. That said,
so
I would still probably want to get the
$150, just to be clear, was only for COVID coverage, correct? And then we would be, because we already have health insurance. So like, let's say we broke our leg, I don't think it's also part of that. Like, I think you would need to have additional coverage.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not.
I mean, maybe.
Derek's looking at it right now, so to be determined. But yeah, it's one of those things where, sometimes you just kind of have to like add that into the trip budget, and make decisions around that, because it's an important thing to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's not too bad. And I would just say look at it. I do think that might be only a supplement for COVID. So you might want to get an additional travel insurance on top of that. But
and Nick is saying that it can be really important to have travel health insurance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it is. So when my grandparents were in Florida on like a vacation with my aunt and uncle, my grandfather actually got hospitalized for a month. Maybe longer while I was down there. But they had travel health insurance, so that was all taken care of, including the medical transit plane to get them back from Florida to Arizona, which would have cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
If they didn't.
Because it was like a private jet with health.
Yep.
Workers on it monitoring him. Yep. It was kind of like an airlift, but like across the country.
Yeah. So I mean, it's super important, and
yeah.
I would say for a trip like this during this time in our lives, yeah, totally, we would be getting probably a regular one plus, an additional COVID just in case, because if it gets super bad and you need to get repatriated, this insurance covers up to like $500,000 to help get you repatriated back to the U.S.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. And Dean makes a good point, which is that the hard part is when you come back, you have an additional 14-day quarantine upon return. Yeah, and that's a major issue. Right now we're working entirely from home, so it's not that big of a deal if we have to come home and quarantine for another 14 days. But we do recognize that for a lot of people, that's something that they have to combat and
exactly.
deal with. It's hard when 14 days before you get to actually travel and experience a place, and then when you come back you have another 14 days. That's an entire month of your time spent just kind of quarantining, which is a lot. So
too much,
which is why we think you need to go spend an extended amount of time, which is why we're thinking about spending like 2+ months in the UK to really get enough out of that trip to make it worth it.
Yep. Righto. So, Nick says, when I was working as a foreign correspondent and traveling frequently across borders, I had a decent plan from Cigna that covered me whether I was at home or in the field. We'll have to look into that. We've never ourselves added like a supplemental international health insurance coverage plan. But we're getting to an age where we probably should, so.
We're not as young as we used to be.
We're not as young as we once were.
Or as young as we like to think we are.
Right.
So.
Yeah, how free we all used to be travel-wise. I know, Bonnie. Right, so I feel like we skipped another question that was maybe a little bit lighter. But if you want to start just going on about, while I try to find it, about your favorite remote places. and recommendations?
I don't know, guys. So
Staying near a Starbucks is always a good idea.
yeah, Dean, I like it.
Derek hates when I go to Starbucks abroad. However, in my defense, I like having the consistency of knowing that I can get dairy-free milk options there. Which, like, if I'm in the UK, you can pretty much get dairy-free milk anywhere, any coffee place, but, like, Italy, not so much.
I say that, and I do give her a hard time every time we go to a Starbucks, but when I was in Tokyo, the first place I went to was a Starbucks in Tokyo Station, because I was like, I need to break.
This is breaking news, you guys. You never told me this before.
I've got to break some currency there, and I was like, I just don't know what I'm doing, so I'm like, I'm just going to go order a coffee and, like, pay with this way too large of a bill, get some change back, and see what happens. I was so out of my element. I know no Japanese or anything. I get there, I basically was like, pointed at something, handed them a bill, and just like hoped they gave me the right change back.
You know what's funny is when I was in France, I actually feel like I learned French words from going to Starbucks, because like I would have never known what the word for blueberry was, for example, but like went and I was like, oh, I want a muffin martillo, and they're like, oui, and they like got me the muffin or whatever, and it was just like, oh, now I know what the word for blueberry is because I know what the menu is there. Yeah. Clearly my Duolingo skills still need to be improved.
So that said, like, yeah, I mean, there is something when you're in a place that, you know, a foreign land or whatever, you know, it's nice to have some sense of, you know, comfort that you're used to. That said, I don't want to go to Starbucks every day. I want to go to the local coffee place. I want to have espresso and, like, a croissant and stuff. Like, I want to have, like, whatever is local.
Good night, Ryan Donahue, by the way. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Ryan.
Hope to see you next week.
Yeah, Starbucks in Japan is on another level. It's, it's cool. I only went to the one in the station. I would say the one thing I know about Tokyo, though, is that, you know, leaving Tokyo Central Station or whatever, the lack of trash cans anywhere was something that I was not prepared for and I didn't understand. So I was, like, walking all over, like, by the Imperial City area and all this kind of stuff, just with my I'm like, where am I supposed to throw this away? I'm like trying to look up on my phone like garbage cans in Tokyo. I'm like, how does this work? And basically, come to find out, there's like no public trash cans in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So I finally like found a hotel, went into their lobby and threw it in there, in a trash can, not just like in the lobby. But yeah, so. The more you know.
I like that Eric's like, I hear Tokyo's really clean, though. Yep.
Yeah, it's super clean.
They don't have any trash cans.
Crazy. But I just didn't know, so I'm like walking around like a dope, like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? And I hear it's also like you don't eat food in public so much, and like you don't like eat candy bars in the run or anything, so it's like, alright, gotta figure out what to do with this.
Hey Blaine, welcome.
Hey
Thanks
Blaine,
for joining.
welcome. How you doing?
We were just talking about trash cans in Tokyo.
Well, it reminded me a lot of like in the UK, like
in the tube they won't have like trash cans or anything.
Yeah, well, Thomas Reiser just mentioned as well.
Oh,
UK
did he?
doesn't have a lot of trash cans.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the same thing. Nick Barnett says, if you're in a place with serious coffee culture, going to Starbucks can be interesting to see the differences between there and the regular coffee places.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And because they'll typically like make menu items that maybe are just located in that spot.
Yeah.
You know, based on that coffee culture.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I would say that like same thing about like a McDonald's.
Eric
like
B
that.
Loves the Tube. He's like an hour late on this gush.
The Tube is great.
I think you've got a lot of fellow fans on this chat.
She loves the Tube.
I do. I love the Tube.
And I've already said that the Tube is my favorite public transit to like be on, because I feel like it's just, I love the names of these stations that they have.
Like Notting Hill Gate.
Like Notting Hill Gate. Knightsbridge. What's another good one? Swiss Cottage, St. John's Wood. I mean, this sounds like things out of a fairy tale.
So Gallivanting Gals are saying that they love their coffee, but they're not coffee snobs. And I don't think that I'm a coffee snob because I can drink even black coffee and be fine. But there's certain, like, I do prefer to go to Starbucks over like Dunkin' Donuts. And I think it's just the actual taste of the coffee that's there and stuff.
That doesn't make you a coffee. No, like coffee snob would be like, no, I only want like
Good. If it doesn't make me one, that's great.
Ethiopian like single source roasts or something like. Actually, a really cool spot for coffee for those who are interested and are coming to Chicago when it's, I don't know if it's open or what, but the Starbucks in Chicago, the roastery,
the one on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, the one on Michigan Avenue was awesome. We went there
we did
after
a
it
coffee
opened.
tasting.
We did a coffee tasting that was really cool. It was like 3 different coffees. You just tasted them black. It was awesome.
Yep. Yeah, and we shared it. And you don't have to share it, but we decided to.
Oh, that would have been so much coffee otherwise.
But you have to choose like 3 out of 5 roasts for the tasting. And then they explain to you like what order you should drink the coffees in and stuff. Man, it's serious business, yummy. But it's also expensive too.
Yeah, it was not cheap. No, not at all. But it was fun. It was like they have like little tables. Some of them might be kind of communal. So like we actually ended up sitting next to another couple. We were talking about a bunch of different stuff. They own some property in Georgia. I was like, I want to move to Georgia and own some property now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good time. Dean mentions the McDonald's and stuff and seeing some of the different menus there. That can be cool.
That couple was from, they had property in Alabama.
Alabama.
Because I remember bonding over the fact that, like, I have family history in Alabama.
Okay.
Like, around the same area.
If anybody here's from the South, I'm sorry.
I've actually never been to Alabama.
I actually get Alabama and Georgia confused a lot when I'm talking about them.
They're so different.
I'm sure they are, and I'm sure Blaine is probably like, what are you talking about? But I'm like,
Blaine's in South Carolina.
But he's in the South. I don't know.
Oh my God, now he's mixing up all of them.
I'm not getting them all mixed up. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know the difference.
Sorry, apologies on Derek's behalf to everybody he has just offended in the past 30 seconds.
I have family from the South. It's okay.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
You do.
Okay.
All right, so Bonnie says, Jasper, Alberta is a remote location in my backyard.
Blaine was born in Alabama.
There you go. Maybe I'm related to Blaine. That'd be neat.
Go Dogs.
You know what's funny is like, because so my Alabama family history is like, there's like a county or something that like one of my ancestors was like the first settlers of that county in Alabama. So like everyone I meet from there, I'm just like, we might be related. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I apologize to the South. But yeah, the Starbucks thing is pretty cool here in Chicago, and something that I would actually recommend. It's pretty neat.
Go Hoosiers. Let me add that in.
Roll Tide. I mean, yeah, let's just go Big Orange. Oh, so much happening right now.
I don't even...
College sports.
This is intense. College sports aren't even, like, happening.
Bonnie's funny. Bonnie says, I'm from southern Alberta and I'm not offended. That's so good. Thank you, Bonnie.
We gotta go to Banff now.
We do need to go to Banff. Actually, Bonnie, didn't you say, wasn't it?
I think she went to Banff.
Yeah, you went to Banff not that long ago, right? Like maybe a month ago. Hopefully it was really cool. I think you said it was nice.
My aunt used to say Miss Alabama. She said Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, some crap. Okay.
That's funny. Blaine. I'm going to get someone to put Darren in timeout for saying go Gators. Let's hope Jocelyn doesn't join the chat. She'll put him in timeout.
Let's talk about Canada. Let's talk about Banff. I'm feeling awkward about this whole southern belt over here.
Yeah.
that Derek offended everybody.
I don't know. They're all like saying like.
Yeah, they're all
No, it's just sports teams. I don't know.
All right.
Go Hoosiers.
Yeah. So I also have family in Gainesville, so I understand that one. And then our roommate went to Georgia, so we've got a spread. We're all right.
So
Bonnie went to Banff for her birthday. It was so nice. We really want to go, and I've heard that Banff is like way less crowded this year. Maybe I heard it from you. I can't think of who else I would have heard it from. But yeah,
no,
I heard
always
that
see the
there's
pictures.
like no Americans.
Yeah, I always see the pictures and stuff, and it's always just beautiful. So I definitely want to go. Kind of like Idaho. Mm-hmm. I'd love to go to Idaho because I've seen beautiful, beautiful shots of everything around there. So.
I think so. Idaho would probably be in our Plan B road trip, just so everybody knows. So we'd probably start heading out like towards more of the northern, like Montana, Idaho, Spokane area. So we'll keep y'all posted if that becomes a thing.
I'm loving Blaine and Darren going back and forth on things. So Galman Gal says Banff is high on our list too. Bad thing or a good thing for all this non-travel is that our list continues to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish that we could go, like, there's all this time right now to go exploring, and like we would love to go into Canada and do that.
Yeah.
It just stinks if we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Brown says he needs to see Banff in his life. I am right there with you.
Yeah, Dean is saying the Rockies are spectacular, either the Alberta or
British
Columbia side.
Yep, and down in Colorado too. I mean, the whole Rocky Mountain chain is breathtaking. It goes all the way down into like Arizona, like my family's area in Tucson.
So Bonnie says that she used to work in Banff, stayed in every hotel there, even the presidential suite in Banff Springs. So lucky, took it for granted.
Okay, so we'll be asking you where to stay.
Yeah, where do you recommend? What's your favorite hotel?
What are your favorite hotels? Give us like a top 3 or 5 or whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah. Nick Barnett says
hi, Byron. Welcome.
Hey, Byron. How you doing? Nick is saying, though, that includes Western Canada, too. Vancouver is definitely the next place in Canada I need to visit, and will definitely be part of the PNW trip I will do someday, Pacific Northwest. Vancouver's awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's funny, we were living in New York City back when we went out there, and when we first landed, must have just rained, and we like stepped out of the airport, and we're like, we breathed in, and we both just like looked at each other, and we're like, oh my god, it smells amazing here. It was insane.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it was like the air was just incredible.
Yeah, we were like,
Air
never
quality,
smelled
top-notch.
air so pure, you know. I was like, what's happening? It was awesome.
It was funny.
And also, Vancouver is really cool because it's a big city, but it has access to kind of everything. Like, it has weird microclimates where it's like there's a rainforest, there's mountains, there's beach, and there's a real city. So
Byron says we're planning a family reunion to Moab.
Nice.
We were just talking about Moab a little bit earlier. Either later next year or the year afterwards with my aunt. I have not seen in a long time. Looking forward to it. So Derek
Moab's
and I went
awesome.
to Moab.
I really like it.
What day is it today? August 6th? We were actually in Moab a year ago today.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
It was
that.
hot as heck. Literally, I think highs of like 102 degrees Fahrenheit every single day. But still beautiful. Still had a great time. We just kind of had to plan our days kind of according to like when it was going to be hottest. So we would wake up really early in the morning and get out to the national parks as quickly as possible. Bring
Real quick,
so
gals,
much water.
thank you for joining us, gals.
Oh, thanks, Galventi Gals, Tracy and Melinda. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Thanks for joining.
And happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday! Tomorrow's a great day. I have another friend whose birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I was just gushing about Moab.
Moab's great, and I mean,
Definitely go to the 2 national parks, Arches and Canyonlands, but also go to Dead Horse Point. So pretty.
Yeah, Dead Horse Point State Park, which is right by Canyonlands. It's like right there. So you should definitely do those kind of the
you
same day.
Turn left into Canyonlands or like right into Dead Horse Point State Park.
It's not quite like that, but
sort
yeah,
of.
it's similar. It's like, yeah, you turn left or you keep going and then you turn left. I don't know. It's one of those types of things. But yeah, I mean, that place is gorgeous and striking. I highly, highly recommend that. And Moab generally has like good food, and it's got the Colorado River right there. There's a bunch of great outdoor stuff, so very neat. And we highly recommend it to people.
Yeah, we also ate at a Thai restaurant.
That place was good. And we met a dude who was like building a house down there that he liked.
Yeah.
He said he had Red Rock fever.
It's funny because, I mean, you guys know us. We are pretty active on Instagram. And so there was this guy at the table next to us at the Thai restaurant eating alone. But you could tell he was kind of a local. And Derek and I were taking pictures of our food to be able to post it on our Instagram stories. And the guy, like, first kind of was like, you could, like, eat it. And we were like, oh, I know, we just are sharing it with our friends and stuff. And then it kind of like broke the ice in a weird way, even though he was totally making fun of us. And we talked to him the rest of the...
he just wanted to talk.
I think he just wanted to talk.
He was this older guy who's retired and like bought some land in Moab and decided to like build a house there, and he was just loving it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay, so there's multiple Thai restaurants in Moab, so the one that I'm talking about is Arches Thai. Just so everybody knows.
Why don't you look up how close Moab is to Zion?
To Zion? Okay, I can look that up.
I think it's a bit of a drive.
Yeah, I don't think it's super close.
But Zion's
I wouldn't use
gorgeous.
Moab as a home base for Zion.
No. But I would say that Zion is also gorgeous, breathtaking, and totally worth a visit. Down in southern Utah, because Zion is very close. If you're flying in and doing like Vegas, you can go up and do like that southern stretch of Utah as well.
Yeah, so it's 5 hours drive from Zion to Moab, and I know that Eric's going to Zion National Park, but yeah, I don't think you'll be able to jump into that pretty easily.
Not unless you want to go and stay like a night or two in Moab, which might be worth doing, because it is pretty cool.
Your dad texted us that our guest room is ready.
Nice.
I guess everyone's gearing up for when we start traveling.
Oh wow, yeah.
He texted us a picture, yeah.
That's fun.
Anyway, Lori says, by winter, take a trip to Utah and go snow skiing. They have all levels, really beautiful. That's where I learned as a child. We would both love to learn how to ski. Neither of us have ever done it. We're like such Midwestern people. There's like no... Yeah. I guess where Derek's family lives down in southern Indiana, they have, ski slopes and stuff like that. And what's the place called? Perfect North?
Yeah, Perfect
Ski
North.
Resort.
Yeah.
It's way smaller scale than like...
It's like little hills.
The Rocky Mountains and stuff, but...
Yes.
But that being said, it's, kind of the type of thing that we have here, and it's just never been something that neither of us learned.
I did not hear that Virgin Atlantic fell into administration.
I didn't either.
So that means that they're going through bankruptcy.
Bye, Nick Barnett.
Hey, Nick. Yeah, thanks for joining, bud.
Always fun to have you on. Hope to see you next week.
Yeah, we do need to learn how to ski, though.
Julia is inviting us to go skiing with her, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Hopelessly Midwestern here. That is the perfect way to put it. Yes, we are hopelessly Midwestern.
That would be a great handle.
Non-skiers.
Is that a name of a YouTube channel? Because that would be a great YouTube channel. Hopelessly Midwestern.
That'll be... your YouTube channel that everyone's trying to make you create, where you just wear lederhosen everywhere.
I'm just gonna wear lederhosen everywhere. Hopelessly Midwestern, German descent. I don't know.
Neat. Can't wait. Like and subscribe. Oh yeah, speaking of, if you're watching this and you have not
If you're
pressed-
still on.
if you're still on,
If you've survived all this.
please press that like button if you like this video. It helps YouTube know that this is a fun live stream to attend and gets other people to attend in as well. And if you're also watching this and you happen to enjoy us, perhaps also press subscribe too, because we're fun and we like hanging out with you guys. So yeah. Anyway. Yes, Colorado skiing rocks. We have heard. And then Lori says, I say your face will be covered. Oh man, thanks Mary Ellen, you're the best. Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who has already liked. That's it's just super helpful for the channel and helps support free travel content on YouTube overall. Dean says he was supposed to go to Moab and Joshua Tree. I've actually never been to Joshua Tree. It's such a popular destination as well. I've seen tons of like Instagrammers and friends of mine who are in LA go there all the time. It looks beautiful. So hopefully I'll be able to make it once, it's easier to travel again. Lori says by winter take a trip to Utah and go snow skiing. Yeah. So my best friend lives in Salt Lake City. And she...
I thought I was your best friend.
Yeah, different in a different way. So she is, she's been learning how to ski because she was also Midwestern and didn't know.
Hopelessly Midwestern.
I don't know. She might not be hopelessly Midwestern because she's actually learning how to ski.
Sorry, Drew. If I got to run my Quiznos here, have fun, bud.
Bye, Drew. Good to have you on, and see you next week. Can't wait. And then she's been going over to Park City, which is like the coolest place to be learning how to ski, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, cool. Derek just opened a Truly, and now it smells like fruity in here.
It tastes delicious.
Good.
So, yeah.
Bonnie says she recommends that we stay in Canmore instead of Banff, minutes away from Banff. Good accommodations and restaurants. Oh, that's actually good to know because I wouldn't have thought
we
to
ended.
Did we? Because nobody else is saying like it's not working.
Oh.
If it's not working, please let us know.
Maybe it's working. Never mind.
Okay, great. Bonnie, thanks. She smashed the like button.
Thank you.
Lori says, go to the California deserts in spring after we've had a wet winter and the flower blooms are fantastic. Oh,
yeah,
we would
really
love to. I think it's so pretty to see all the wildflowers just in the entire western part of the U.S.
Yeah, see, it looks like it crashed on a few people.
Mo's saying the stream crashed. Okay, so hopefully you guys all press refresh if needed. I guess, let me just double check something. But, yeah, hopefully everyone's pressing refresh. Something went wrong.
Hello,
Uh-oh.
Sherry Awesome Sunsets Travel.
Hi, welcome, Sherry.
Thanks for joining us.
I don't know if I should say the whole Sherry Awesome Sunsets travel, but welcome. It's great to have you on. Thanks so much. Hopefully the stream is working for everybody because I'm now experiencing some error messages as well. Keep us posted if things get dicey.
Mo, I think the like button got smashed too hard.
Oh
No! We crashed YouTube with the like button. Oh, so sad.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Alright, well Darian says it's working great for him, so that's good.
And Eric sees as well. That's
Thank
good.
you.
So it's funny, not on this last trip down to get alcohol, but on the one part that I realized that I had never turned the breaker back on to the AC in the basement.
Oh no, so it's
so
like
it was a little warm
sweaty down there?
No, it's not that bad, but it was a little warm. So I had to go down and flip the breaker back on.
Yeah. So
Because for all of you who don't know, when you have to service your AC unit, turn off the breaker because you don't want the fan to start up on you.
And Derek just serviced our AC unit today.
And I think it's working now.
Yeah, that's great.
As long as I didn't break it. Because that would be an expensive faux pas.
He's a good guy to have around. He's doing all these things around the house. It's great. I'm loving it.
I'd use a wrench.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody's having fun. We're talking about remote places and like what to think about when you're visiting places that are a little bit more rural. And like basically most of those places involved road trips in the U.S. I guess there's remote places
and
that we've
UK,
been to, like
and other places.
Well, so like when we went to Snowdonia National Park in Wales, for example, we actually took public transit around the whole time. So
but it would have been better if we had a car.
It would have.
It would have been much better if we had a car.
But we were able to do.
We weren't 25 yet, though.
Yeah, so we were able to like do the train and to our overnight destination, which was Llandudno in the north coast of Wales, and then we could take buses and trains to different day trips. So one of the day trips was Snowdonia National Park, so we took, I believe, a bus all the way to the national park, and then took like it's not a tram, but it's like literally just like a national park bus around the whole loop of the park. Yeah. It was really nice to have like all of that public transit option.
Climbed up to the top. We summited.
Yeah.
Just in time for a big blanket of clouds to come over and obstruct all of our view.
Yep.
Yep. And as we walked down, it cleared up again.
Yep.
So
accurate.
That was fun.
Yep. It was cold in the cloud.
Yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, we had fun with that. That was a really fun trip.
Yeah, Darian's sympathizing with you with the HVAC sitch. Yeah.
Not fun. Yeah.
It was actually functioning okay, just as background, but they just have to be serviced every once in a while. So we wanted to do that right before.
It wasn't so much servicing as it was, because I'm not qualified to do that.
Right.
But what I am qualified to do is take a hose and hose off the fins and all that, and the coils and everything. So, and it was getting dirty because I don't know the last time we got service, so it took me a while.
And here we are. He's a champion. Snowdonia. You'll have to get out there when you can travel around the UK a little bit more, Mo. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it is.
I really liked that they have the steam train that goes all the way up the mountain still too. I wanted to ride it, but Derek made me climb the mountain instead.
She's still mad at me.
We took pictures of the train from the climb, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Megan is asking where the thumbnail pic was taken.
Great question.
What's the thumbnail pic?
It was taken in Bellagio at Lake Como, which is another great spot in Italy that's kind of a little bit more remote. And so it's like a really small town. We did it as a day trip from staying in Como, like the actual town of Como. And we took the ferry from one town to another. It was beautiful.
Bellagio, it's also where Clooney has his house, right?
No.
It's not? I thought it was in Bellagio.
No, it's further up Lake Como. It's not in Bellagio. You're going to look it up, aren't you?
I'm looking it up.
No, but a lot of wealthy people, I'm sure, have houses in Bellagio. That's for sure. Not us. And Megan, so Megan asked about that. So yeah, that's we were on like steps just in the town of Bellagio. And so what's the
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just like in the middle of the lake.
Oh.
Like I don't know if
it's in Bellagio.
Oh, so that's close, but not.
Bellagio? I don't know.
Anyway.
His house is beautiful.
Yeah, Lake Como is beautiful in general. And just going to lakes generally, like, I think just to add to this conversation a little bit of going to places that feel a little bit more remote, we specifically love going to places with bigger lakes like that. And that's why I feel really strongly about wanting to go to Banff. Because Lake Louise is just, I mean, from the photos that I've seen, absolutely breathtaking.
If you go to Germany, Lake Constance is gorgeous. It's like right on the border of Switzerland. Very nice.
And so when we went to Argentina, for example, we were able to go to Bariloche and then do a day trip. We did a couple day trips, so like one remote destination that we did was climb the mountain there called Xiao Xiao,
Yeah.
and overlook
That
Lake
was
Nawalapi
pretty.
down there. And then what was the name of that town that we went to across the other side of the lake?
San Augustine or something like that.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Had something to do with Augustus or Augustine.
Probably.
Yeah, no. But I'd say Bariloche generally is, I would consider a more remote and rural place. It's not like a city.
Yeah.
It's a town. But it's a really nice town and one that I would highly recommend people go see. And it's also nice because it's pretty easily accessible in terms of that you can take a flight from Buenos Aires down to Bariloche. And then rent a
Via
car.
La Angostura is the name of the town that we went to.
Ah, yeah. That.
Yep. But it was really fun. Very remote. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was, and yeah, it was fun. It's Christmas Eve, something like that. Yeah, it was. I will say though that in Argentina the stray dog population is much higher than in the U.S., so that was a little bit different. So, but yeah.
Bonnie saying the Joshua Tree is awesome and not just for YouTube. So YouTube is on like every iPhone, right? And every time I plug Derek's phone into the car, it starts playing YouTube, and he just is like, ah! Every road trip.
Turn it off.
No, not YouTube. And like we actually like certain
I have
YouTube
nothing
songs,
against YouTube.
but it's the whatever one
Just
plays.
that it like auto plays.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it! I don't want to hear that dang song.
Turn it off.
But Darian, of course, comes in with a zinger of a fact that is Lake Constance, a.k.a. the Bodense, has 3 bodies of water.
No way. I didn't know that.
Did not know that. And actually, if you go down there and you go to Friedrichshafen, there is a museum to the Zeppelin. So you can go learn about
Those big
Zeppelins.
air bubble thingies.
Yes, those things.
Bonnie says, remote and off the beaten track, Nita, Lithuania.
Hmm.
You can throw a rock and hit Russia.
Oh.
The Kaliningrad little, like, I don't know, acre, if you will.
Well, you can, not me. They're like, girl. That's funny. Yeah, so the basin of Lake Constance actually borders
I'm actually
Germany,
curious.
Switzerland, and Austria.
I'm curious if Bonnie went to Kaliningrad. You'll have to tell us.
Cool. Yeah, no, so that's a part of Germany that I'd love to get to more, especially because you can easily get into like Austria and Switzerland and whatnot. And Switzerland's another place I just want to go spend some time in. I've only done like kind of day trips into there for work, so it'd be nice to get in there and actually spend some real time, eat some chocolate, do some hiking.
I'm so jealous of the trips that you got to go to. So, like, he got to go to southern Germany and Switzerland twice last fall without me because he went for work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it sounds so nice. But, I mean, I guess he had meetings the whole time, so.
Yeah, it was not that nice. The only chocolate I ate was in the airport, so it wasn't that great.
And he brought some chocolate home because he's a nice boy.
Because I'm a nice boy. Because I wanted to eat more. That's why. So yeah, no, that would be really cool to go down there and spend some more time. So Megan is saying, jealous, really want to visit Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia whenever my U.S. passport will allow me in.
Right, me too.
Same. I mean, those areas, I mean, that's like a part. Would you consider that the Baltics? Not the Baltics. Where would you consider? It starts with a B, right? That part of the world.
Yeah.
Is that the Baltics?
Now I'm like second guessing
See,
it. Is it
yes,
the Baltics
I think
or
it's
the
the
Balkans?
No, Balkans is down. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
Baltics.
the Baltics.
It's the Baltics. I was right.
You're making me second guess it. Okay, yes.
I thought I was saying the Balkans, but then I realized I said it right. So there we go.
Okay. Darian says that he loves to tent camp in Germany, Switzerland, and the Austrian Alps.
Oh wow.
Do you rent the tents once you get there, like in all of the equipment and stuff? I'm curious about that. And then Mo says, would have been in St. Petersburg right now if it weren't for the pandemic.
That's a bummer.
That's like my top place that, of course, I'd want to go to in Russia. It's I'm a '90s girl, so like, I mean, Anastasia the movie, good, good stuff.
St. Petersburg is also beautiful, and has, a lot of the neoclassical architecture that,
But the
the
opening
czars
song
were
in
building.
Anastasia is "Have you heard? There's a rumor in St. Petersburg."
Okay. I did not hear that. I did not hear there was a rumor there.
Sorry, I'm like basing this entire desire to go to St. Petersburg off of a movie.
A Disney animated movie.
I don't think it was Disney technically. I think it
I
was
have
one of
no
those
idea.
non-Disney ones. But yes, an animated movie from my childhood.
There's worse reasons to go places. I guess.
Bonnie did not go to Kaliningrad, but have been to Bodenzi. Yeah, in the Baltics. Our our questioning worked out.
And Tom's Riser says, "Be prepared for expensive things in Switzerland." Yeah. I think that Switzerland is. I know it's really expensive and stuff, but I mean, there's ways that you can probably do it. I've heard that there's some really good hostels, actually, in Switzerland. Might be a decent way to save some money.
That's cool. I know that Rick Steves recommends like a kind of hostel / boarding house in the Alps. That looks pretty cool. St. Petersburg and Moscow would be awesome. Indeed, I agree. And then
Moscow, yeah. So Eric Brown says St. Petersburg and Moscow would be awesome. I would
Hi,
love to see
Nick D.
Moscow.
but has he been on this whole time? Hi, welcome. If you haven't,
Yes.
Anastasia was a Fox movie. Thank you.
And is now owned by Disney.
Maybe
So
I
you
can
can
watch
see it on
on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Mo says he was born in the '90s, in '97.
We were born in the
which
80s,
is probably his.
but we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, I feel like because we were born in '88. We remember we've got the '90s movies, like Disney movies. That's our MO.
My little brother's born in 95.
Not our Mo.
Okay. My little brother's born in 95, so like all his movies, I like got like a double dip of like childhood movies because I used to have to babysit him and watch like we grew up with Land Before Time, no numbers. It was just Land Before Time, and then he grew up with like Land Before Time, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was like, wow, they really went after it. But
they dug deep.
They dug deep. And sometimes those songs, like, they hit me in the head, and I'm like, I start singing them, and I'm like, that wasn't even my childhood. That was his.
Yeah. That happens with, like, everyone with Frozen, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Megan says,
Snow.
let it go.
Let it go? I don't know. It's not my song. Yeah, let it go. That's right. Let it go, let it go. Whatever.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Megan Moore says, I didn't find the hotels to be too expensive in Switzerland, but the food and transit are very pricey.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting.
And the watches.
Yeah.
Your little Patek Philippe.
I'm sure she went expecting to buy a ton of those.
That's what I could, yeah.
Thomas says class of 64 in terms of born.
Nice.
But have you seen Anastasia, the movie?
Not the princess. Disney owns the world. Eric Brown.
That's actually
kind of
fair.
Yeah.
Not going to dispute it or anything.
Tom Schreiber says the Swiss Pass will save lots of money. So
I wonder if Capitco's still on and just like watching and being like, ha!
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. Mo actually
Disney owns the world because of Alex Capitco.
Yes, that is why. He used to work at Fox. So Mo is saying that St. Petersburg, Moscow, and Sochi are on his list. Sochi would be interesting because that's related to the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. Kind of curious. I feel like all those Olympics towns go through this major build, and then it's always sad to go to afterwards because a lot of those things just fall into disrepair.
Yeah.
Afterwards, so I don't know.
Thomas Reiser says he's not a movie person, and my follow-up question to that is, what do you do on airplanes, like, to pass the time? Unless it's just sleep, in which that's a perfectly acceptable answer. But just wondering.
My answer is I drink on planes and I watch movies.
You watch so many movies.
That's how I get my movies. I just like binge.
Let it snow, let it go. I don't know.
Flight map.
I always have my flight map on if I'm not watching a movie. Because I'll bring an eye mask to cover my eyes, so that way if I wake up and I have no idea what's going on, I can just like see how close we are.
I do the flight map when we're flying over land and I have a window seat and I want to know what I'm taking the picture of.
Yeah, that is fun.
Because if I've got the window open and like I see something pretty, I kind of want to know like where generally am I? Like what am I actually looking at right now? So that can be fun.
I've also seen, I don't know if any of you guys have tried this, but like if I open Google Maps sometimes with airplane mode on, sometimes it'll tell you where you are and sometimes it won't. And I don't know why.
GPS.
But even with airplane mode on?
Yeah, because I've done that in Europe too, where I'll have it on and I'll still be able to see where, like, what city I'm over.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's helpful.
Yeah. No.
Or even, like, if you're trying to look up, because if you're flying over the western part of the United States, for example, you might be able to see, like, oh, we're flying over the Grand Canyon right now, or we're going to fly over the Grand Canyon really soon, or what national park is below me. I can tell that it's something.
I love the Bonnie. Now I missed the flight map.
I know, we're all...
All right, guys.
Flight maps.
Yeah, if and when we go to the UK, we'll send some we'll stream some pictures of the flight map for everybody.
The flight maps are different on different airlines. Like some of them are more interactive than others. Like I think on American, you can zoom in a lot more than on Delta.
Nick D, let us grow, let us grow. Nice, very nice. Yeah, I don't know. Frozen was okay. I saw it on a plane. It's good.
Mo says he'll draw something during long flights or just watch movies. I wish I could be like on a flight with you and just watch you draw. I used to draw all the time and now I don't anymore, but I am so entranced by people, like just watching people draw pictures with charcoal or pens or whatever, whatever their choice utensil is.
Crayons.
I don't know if I'd watch a crayon drawing. I suppose I have my limits.
Have the sharp.
I really like oil pastels too, personally. They're fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Norwegian Airlines has a great flight map. Eric says, "I've never been on Norwegian. That's good to know."
Yeah. We have a friend that used to fly Norwegian all the time. Going out to see his girlfriend and stuff, and so that was
because his girlfriend lives in Norway.
Yeah, and he was saying that they had awesome flights. He really enjoyed them.
Darian says, "I don't care what they say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway." We're gonna get shut down by Disney, basically, on this live stream. We keep this up. Cease and desist.
Cease and desist letter. You guys gave away too much. You guys are basically Frozen. I haven't seen Frozen 2 yet.
No, I haven't either.
Best movie, though. Best animated Disney movie. Big Hero 6.
I haven't seen that one either.
Putting it out there. Big Hero 6. So good.
Bonnie says I always wanted a crayon font.
Wow. Crayon.
Mo says color and watercolor pencils. I've never used a watercolor pencil. Just the colored pencils.
Acrylic paints are my
watercolors, acrylic paints, yeah. Watercolors are great. I used to paint with watercolors a lot as a teenager, and I want to get back into that.
Huh. Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Esmeralda.
Great soundtrack in Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Lion King.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think as a kid, Lion King was definitely my favorite. And I
because you like JTT.
No, actually, I didn't even put together that it was JTT for a little while.
Jonathan Taylor.
Because Lion King came out when we were like 5. But it was a good flick.
Yeah. What I like about Big Hero 6 is that there's no like love story to it. It's just like it's great. I don't know.
Yeah, Brave also
made me cry.
Did you ever watch Brave? It's
yeah,
one. That one
Baymax fist pump. Yeah, it's always good.
Brave doesn't have a love story in it too, which is great. Like it shows the princess without.
Brave was good as well. I
Yeah.
like Brave. I've watched so many. All right, so because I used to fly so much, I would like go through all the movies basically, and like if they hadn't refreshed, I'd then start like moving down into like all the kids movies as well. So I watched like Big Hero 6, and it was great. It made me cry, and like I'm like what? Because I'm drinking while I'm flying and all this stuff, so I'm like emotional. I think it has to do with the altitude, honestly.
No, it's the movie. It's so good. It hits the heartstrings.
It's me right here. But yeah, so
You've
like
got feelings.
Big
It's
Hero
okay.
6. I watched Brave. I watched it all, guys. Everything. But
Soundtrack of The Lion King was Hans Zimmer. Saw him at the O2 Arena in London back in November. Yes, I did cry.
nice.
Perfect. Good. Yeah, the soundtrack of The Lion King was incredible. I know every single word. Still. And we're going to leave it at that. Because I don't think I'm allowed to sing anything right now.
Yeah, a good buddy of mine actually went to go see Hans Zimmer when he did a tour in the U.S. a few years ago, and he actually talks about how he, like, I think this was the story, but the guy who does like the hums and whims, like that like singing that happens, he actually found him like at a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
It was like a guy who was like in the kitchen cooking or something, and like was singing, and he heard it, and he was like, "That's amazing," and brought him in on the soundtrack.
That
and stuff,
story.
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Bye, Blaine. By the way, thanks so much for joining. It was really fun to have you. And he has some things to work on for his channel. So for those of you who are not aware, Blaine has a really great channel as well. So go check it out at Rayleigh Creative Travel.
Yep. Travel Best Destinations. Hello.
Welcome. And Thomas is saying he tends to watch kids' things more than movies. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like the right mindset to be into.
Yeah.
And then, and I just want to shout out a couple things here. So there's several people on this chat who do have really great channels. Magnificent Germany with Darian just changed its name, but it's still
Used to be Germany Personal Travel Guide.
Germany Travel Personal Guide.
Oh.
And now,
Sorry,
just in the past week, changed. But really great channel, especially if you're interested in learning about German culture or Germany in general.
Spaghetti ice.
And then, let's see, where are we at? Travel Best Destinations has a channel. And Eric Brown has, I think, on a different one.
Spoiler alert. I cried watching The Last Planet of the Apes.
Eric Brown also has a new
big
travel
spoiler.
channel and has been posting some great videos lately too. So if I've missed anyone too, let us know. But wanted to shout out some of the channels that I follow of the people that are on this chat. Yeah. Wait, so sorry, what's the spoiler? Oh, they killed Caesar. Jeez, yeah. Don't give away endings of movies on here, guys.
Have not seen that one. Okay.
Mo says, I'll try and post my videos of the show in the Facebook group. Going to another show next year in Dublin.
Oh, cool.
That'll be so great.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Eric Brown, haha. Travels from Eric Brown, haha. Double laugh. So, my question to everybody is, what is everybody else drinking tonight?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'd love to know, because I'm having a truly...
We should tell you which...
I've been having
or we
Michelob
should
Ultra.
figure out what flavor truly you picked up. Is it pomegranate?
Pomegranate? Passion fruit.
Passion fruit.
Delicious.
Darian's drinking water. I bet Thomas Reiser's probably drinking water. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. I am drinking.
We're
more
taking it
calories than
pretty easy tonight. We drank wine during the Walter's World one last night, and we didn't want to do 2 nights in a row of that.
Mo is drinking my tears after all this travel talk. Oh man, bud.
So water.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Aw.
At least you're in the UK, right? I mean, you can actually do some stuff, which is kind of cool.
No, we can't.
You can't leave Northern Ireland?
I think I need to circle back.
I know he can't go to Ireland.
Oh, that's right. You're right. But he has to fly over to, I think it was England in order to get his visa.
So,
you're right. I take it back.
But if you can go to England, if you can go to Scotland, I mean, there's still some cool stuff that you can do that I'm jealous of, and why we want to go.
Derek's letting the passion flow. Yes, he is. Thank you, Eric.
Nick D, rum and Coke Zero. That's a real keto safe drink.
Thomas, I love it. I don't have a channel yet.
Yet. But maybe
Coming soon. Love it.
Megan Morris, High Noon Seltzer made with vodka instead of malt liquor. There is about to be a shortage. Had to go to 4 places to find them. I bought 6 cases yesterday.
Oh my gosh, hoarder.
Stocking up.
Or stocking up.
Every time I go to Costco, she's like, how'd you spend so much money? I'm like,
alcohol.
I bought so much Truly.
No, you
And
buy a lot of
Michelob.
wine. Yeah.
And wine.
And then Nick D says he's drinking rum and Coke Zero. That's a real keto safe drink.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like it. High Noon Seltzer. I haven't tried High Noon Seltzer yet. I think we have that here, though.
Ronnie, I'll have to watch your 2 videos from school on your channel. I have an older account that is like a personal one that I have a few videos on too. Kind of the same jam.
Yeah. And somebody mentions that they haven't done rum in a while. I haven't either, Eric. But my parents have a thing of rum in their refrigerator, so once we get down there...
So you're making plans.
I'm making plans. I'm going to drink
Maybe
some
that'll
Bacardi.
be... Oh yeah, so in 2 weeks from today, we're going to be live streaming from there. And so maybe Derek will be drinking rum on that live stream. So next week, just so everybody knows, we're going to be here still. And then in 2 weeks from today, we will be doing our live streams in Indiana for a little while. And then after that, wherever
Hopefully
we go.
somewhere
So
else.
maybe the UK, maybe the US, we'll see.
Yeah. Travel Best Destinations is giving you a shout out for giving them a hint onto Chicago's strict rules around quarantine, so that
Change your trip to Michigan. Yeah, Michigan, also a beautiful place to go in the summertime too.
yeah.
It's funny because I've seen several people from California specifically who, I've seen in my stories on Instagram have come here. And I think it's just not common knowledge that Chicago has a lot of these strict rules. So definitely don't feel like you should have known, because not a lot of people I feel like do.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't know what the enforcement looks like. We don't know how rigorously it's being enforced.
I think it's probably one of those things where if you get
where if you get caught, you get a big fine.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that we'd never recommend people doing and taking a risk with, but we also don't know. Ronnie says Jack and Coke is the way to go. I like Jack and Coke. I do that. I do Jack and Diet personally, or Jack and Coke Zero.
I don't think I've ever had Jack and Diet. I think I've just only had, because I'm not a big Jack Daniels drinker. I know you guys are probably floored on that, but
so High
Bonnie's
Noon
drinking rosé. It's hot for a change, and I'm pretending to be in the south of France, girl.
Provence.
Pour me a glass.
Eliz loves any rosé from Provence.
Yeah, Côte de Provence is like,
That's her favorite.
sign me up. I've never had a bad one, ever, from the Provence region.
Was it?
High Noon is not keto friendly. Only 100 calories, but made with real fruit juice. So the carbs are 4.8, much higher than Truly. Yeah, but a much better taste.
But Megan, it's not that it's not keto friendly. It is. 4.8 carbs is not that bad, as long as you're strict elsewhere.
You just have to prioritize it, I guess.
You just have to prioritize it, because you can get away with that and still be within keto, which is fine.
Yeah.
You just need to watch out. So, I've been stuck on vodka for a while. Eric B. Whiskey sometimes when I'm with my buddies.
I like this active chat about what we're all drinking.
Yeah, so vodka, I don't like the taste of vodka. I don't mind it mixing it to make cocktails and things like that, but it's just I'm not really into the vodka taste. Whiskey's something that, especially bourbon, I really like Kentucky bourbon, and I enjoy that. I'm not really a Scotch guy, I'm not really big into it, and I don't like especially peaty Scotches. So there's really smoky peaty type ones that people love out of Scotland. Not my favorite. It's more of an acquired taste. So I always saw
Maybe we have
bourbon.
to go to Scotland so he can acquire it. What do you guys think?
Well, the last time we were there, I wanted to go to distilleries and you wouldn't let me.
That's true. I don't really love Scotch whiskey either, so...
The one time she goes to a brewery was without me. She went to the brewery in Dublin without me. I tried to take
We've
us
already been
to
over
Heineken.
earlier.
I tried to taste the one in Amsterdam this last time we were there, and she's like, no.
There was actually the moment when I went with Brian and Stephanie to a brewery in Belgium, too.
I hate you. I love you, but I hate you at the same time.
I don't want to go.
Every time I want to go.
I know, I'm sorry. Well, we were going to go when we were in Amsterdam. We
Mo,
just had to come back early.
Mo, we're going to a brewery in Belfast, man. I don't care.
Mo, track down a brewery for Derek. We're coming.
But I like whiskey, and I always thought bourbon would be a good gateway into the whiskeys and the single malt scotches and all that kind of stuff. But never quite got there because it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
So. But I do like it. Especially I like the cocktails that you can make, like Manhattans and Old Fashions and things like that. I really enjoy those.
Yeah, there are certain ones that are pretty good. What did I miss? Did you say that you won't be there in 2 weeks? Oh, no. So we're gonna be on live stream. We just won't be in Chicago. We'll be in Indiana. Probably for I haven't counted the number of weeks we'll live stream in Indiana. Probably 3, if I'm guessing correctly about the calendar. And then after that, it'll be from on the road. So we're trying to figure out places to stay that are gonna let us basically have good enough internet that we'd be able to live stream every Thursday still. We're taking this into consideration for booking places. But we'll keep you all posted. Definitely follow the two of us on all the things in case we ever have to cancel anything.
All the things. Okay, actually, so real quick to everybody out there. So we are looking for a bunch of... so we are looking for a number of different home bases in the UK, if that's what we end up doing. So places where ideally, the criteria that we're looking at is that there's a decent enough infrastructure where if things are kind of shut down, you have to do delivery food options or delivery groceries. Those are options, but have a lot of access to different places. So, for instance, in the UK, Bristol is one of the places that we're looking at because of its proximity to Bath, the Cotswolds, Cornwall, and parts of Wales. So if anybody has any great home base locations within the UK that they're oh, this place is awesome, you should go here, and you could stay there for a week or so and explore different parts. We plan to have a car the whole time. So if you have any ideas, let us know. We'd love to hear them.
We are all ears.
because we're still trying to figure out like what we would do and like what that like itinerary would kind of look like. And again, we're looking at about 2 months. So the first month is kind of like taken with quarantine and then other stuff, which is why we're thinking Bristol. And then the second month, we're thinking maybe pick 4 different places to go stop and
like Scotland probably
see some
would
other
be
places.
in that.
Yeah. Somewhere in England, somewhere in Scotland, somewhere in Northern Ireland.
We'd love to go. I've never been to Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Got to go.
And maybe the answer is Belfast. Maybe it is you just go to Belfast,
Yeah.
you stay there, and then you go out and you do some day trips. So.
Okay, important comments. I
Katie
was laughing
Smith?
at Katie Smith saying, Eliz,
It's hilarious.
I
yeah.
accidentally texted a friend group chat about Anastasia instead of here, and now I'm having a very in-depth conversation about it. Thought you should know.
That was
Love
awesome.
that.
I started laughing when I read that.
Now I need to know what you texted them, though. Because now I feel like I have FOMO because we didn't get to hear it. You guys, okay, anybody who stayed till the end, Megan Morris, you're in for a treat here. We have a visitor. PG is back.
No, hey, what's up, buddy?
He's like, why do I come here every Thursday?
Why is
I don't
it so
get
bright?
Why is it so bright? What are you guys doing without me?
PG.
Eric Brown, PG. Also, just wanted to read out Bonnie, yay, PG. You have so many fans, bud. So many fans.
Because he's a legend.
He is a legend.
You know.
Okay, and so then I also wanted to read out Nick D said Long Island iced teas are better than the Long Island Railroad. Accurate. Thomas says okay, just want to add, I really like Long Island iced teas, like a lot.
They're yummy.
Thomas Riser.
I like water longs.
You might want to look into Skyrim Solace. What is that? I feel like I've heard of it.
Where? I don't see what you're talking.
Right here. You might want to look into a Skyrim Solace. I feel like that's like a type of accommodation or something.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, like I know that
Thomas,
I've seen
what's a
those
Skyrim
words
Solace?
before.
I feel like we
just
might
can't
have
place
talked
it.
about this before, actually.
Yeah.
On this, even.
Bushmills, Dark Hedges, Giant's Causeway. That's on the list. And Dunlas Castle, also close. We gotta go.
He was also saying Belfast for sure is the place to stay in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Belfast City Airport is very close to my house, so I can pick you up if you need. A drive to Derry is about 2 hours.
Okay,
and
that's good to
Eliz
I would be
loves
going.
Derry girls.
I do. I love Dairy Girls. Mo has friends that work on the show, apparently.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm actually watching Dairy Girls with Megan right now. We're on season 2, episode 4. So we're gonna be finishing that over the next 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah, guys, sorry
PG
that
watched.
PG. I think it might be the light. He doesn't like to face
Yeah,
the
I don't
light.
think he likes the lights.
We should get PG sunglasses.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Hi, buddy. He's also probably like exhausted.
He's been hanging out today.
Yeah, Katie Smith was PG. I was just saying how much I was obsessed with Anastasia growing up too. Yeah. All right. So skipped around.
That's
a
a
little
funny thing to just like randomly send to a group chat. That's like that's a really good conversation starter.
Yeah.
Just like, what's gonna happen?
Anyone else really into Dimitri?
Wow. Okay. Now we see why Eliz liked Anastasia. It's all about
There's
Dimitri.
a mural of Dairy Girls, so we need a photo with that. Absolutely. I was unaware. We will be doing that.
Yeah, Katie Smith. That show is so funny. Yeah, Dairy Girls is pretty funny.
It's
Nuns,
also extremely easy to watch because I think it's like less than half an hour per episode on Netflix, and it's only 6 episodes per season, and there's only 2 seasons, so you can get through it like lickety split. Yes, the nun is my favorite character.
She's great. She's funny.
Favorite character for sure.
Letterkenny.
Don't rely on the hotel internet. Yeah. So we're working around that for our live streams because you do have to have really strong internet. And a lot of like the little pocket Wi-Fi's that you can buy have kind of like a maximum per day that you get with your Wi-Fi rental. So we wouldn't want to have a situation where all of a sudden we get like kicked off.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit trickier, and we're just trying to maneuver around that. We don't want to have any situations where we have to cancel these live streams because we love chatting with you guys, and especially like if we're actively traveling, we'll have a lot to talk about.
I still like the idea of like posting the 14 days of quarantine.
Yeah.
When we're out there, so we'll figure that out as well. On the first day of quarantine. I don't know. We're still workshopping it. You know?
It's a WIP, work in progress.
Yeah, definitely work in progress.
Train is a great way to get to Derry and has cool scenery. Oh, that's good to know.
Oh.
I didn't know you could take a train from Belfast.
And according to Mo, it's cheap.
Love it. Love cheap.
Which
love
I
that.
like as well.
Love all that.
Yeah,
PG,
so
it was the highlight of my day today. Megan said, "I am sad that this may be one of the last times we see him on the channel." I know.
next week is the last.
Next week will be the last one. Hey, Peach. Everyone wants to see your pretty face.
Pretty face. Alright, okay. Oh, God.
Oh my gosh, she's so heavy. you have to bend your... Yeah, you have to bend.
I can just turn you around like that. Hi, buddy.
He misses you already.
He's like, I'm looking this way.
He's like, you guys suck. Aww. Oh, you can't breathe over there. Aww.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, give him back to me.
He can't breathe over there. I don't
Yeah,
know what's going on.
He's like, I hate you
He's
all.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's a cutie, alright. He's getting groomed tomorrow, so apologies that he's looking pretty scruffy today compared to if you guys had seen him tomorrow. But he's good. He's doing well. It's been like a lot cooler here over the past couple days, so he's actually been able to like be outside, and so he just like loves being outside and like watching the bugs and the birds and stuff like that. But if it's really hot out, then he gets really uncomfortable.
Luckily, he didn't just drink, because whenever he drinks, he just like has like a sopping wet beard down here, and he's just like gets it all over everybody.
Oh, also, big news in the PG world is 2 days ago, he happened to accidentally find a bag of treats on the floor, or within snout distance, and he grabbed it, mauled the plastic bag open, and ate the entire bag of treats. So he's having a good week.
He's watching his figure.
He's on a little bit of a diet.
He got all the treats.
Yeah, he ate them all.
Doesn't he look guilty?
He's like, I don't regret a minute.
He's like, worth it.
Worth it. You should make a PG video. It might get a lot of views.
Thanks, Eric.
Oh, man. I probably should.
Well, I told I told Megan about Drew's idea for PG-13, which was the PG channel where he goes to 13 different places.
Yeah.
And she liked it, so maybe she'll do it.
So for those of you who have not met PG before, his name is Papa Gino. He
has an Instagram account.
I guess he's considered a rescue dog. He was dropped off at Animal Control in May of 2019 in New York City, and Megan adopted him in June. They think he's about 11 years old. He has certainly a lot of health concerns after potentially being a little bit neglected, but he is rebounding like a champion, living his best life, eating all the treats, and snuggling as much as possible, really. And he's doing really, really well. He is deaf, but other than that, he's just like really, really good sense of smell, can track down food from a mile away, and overall, great roommate.
Oh yeah, we should take a traveling PG with us.
Oh, like a little blow up. Yeah, take a
Like a
picture
little
of PG,
blow-up
blow it up,
PG.
and take him on your trip. Oh my gosh, we always joke that PG's already like been everywhere, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I went there during the Nixon administration."
He's like, I remember Nam.
I remember going. I went to Vietnam, but it was in the '60s.
He's an adorable dog.
Yeah,
He's very well loved.
he is. As is Megan, but you guys haven't really met her.
Mo, best dog movie you've ever seen. Mine is 8 Feet Under, or whatever it's called, with Paul Walker and the Huskies.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Best dog movie. If I was answering this when I was 5, it would absolutely
Bolton.
100% be Homeward Bound. I feel like there's so many good ones.
Best Air Bud.
Air Bud's a keeper for sure. Beethoven also.
Beethoven.
Like a flat Stanley.
Sandlot. Hercules plays a pretty big role in that movie, so I'd say the Sandlot.
PJ, are you gonna want your picture all over the world?
It's already all over Instagram.
Yeah, but he's pretty lovable. Pretty lovable, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty late. If you guys have any other questions you want to ask about travel, we can totally do that. Or we can start wrapping things up.
So his Instagram, by the way, is Sir SIR _Papa _Gino GINO.
He has been knighted as.
He's been knighted by 12 monarchs. I won't tell you which 12. And yeah, he's a cutie. So
Yeah.
we should probably call it a night.
Yeah, it's getting late. Getting late for all of us, right? So it's been really fun talking with everybody.
And actually, this is Papa Gino's
claim to fame.
Yeah. It's him and Trevor Noah.
He was not impressed with Trevor Noah in that photo.
He's like, I've seen
who
better.
you?
But yeah, he's a cutie.
Yeah, but it's been fun chatting with everybody. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you are still here, it's always like so exciting for us to have these live streams every Thursday. We just really look forward to talking to everybody and catching up and hearing what's going on in you guys' lives, and answering any travel questions and filling you in on what's going on with us. So yeah, great to have everybody back week after week, and we'll be back next Thursday, so hope to see you then. And if you haven't already, even though I know I've said it a couple times, please like this video, subscribe if you can, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
Really appreciate it.